Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. It's official. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports J.J. Redick is the new head coach of the Lakers. Redick will sign a 4-year contract, but NBA analyst Udonis Haslem wonders if there could be trouble ahead.
We understand how great of a basketball mind that J.J. Redick is, but we also understand how great of a basketball mind that LeBron James has. And we also understand that these NBA players today spend 95% of the time focusing on the things they can't control. You can't control the relationship like LeBron has with J.J. Redick.
Udonis Haslem on NBA Today. Redick has been co-hosting a basketball podcast with LeBron James for the last few months. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Patriots running back Ramondre Stevenson will get a 4-year extension for $36 million, $17 million guaranteed. The Royals put right-hander Dan Altavilla on the injured list today with a right oblique strain. On Sunday, Altavilla threw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball that broke the left wrist of Dodgers shortstop Mookie Betts.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen coming up Friday with NBA free agency days away. I'll tell you which players need a new team if they want to be title contenders. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here to let you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. My goodness, do we have a lot to do today. Tigers land a commitment. Saints add a safety. Jardin Gilbert in studio with us next hour. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Earlier this week, Shea Dixon from On 3 The Bengal Tiger was here. We asked him what commitment might come and pop next, and he told us the one to keep an eye on was Carius Curne, an offensive lineman out of Arkansas, a former Arkansas commit who decommitted back in March after a visit to LSU. And today, Thursday, Carius Curne made his announcement with a video that he posted on social media.
Carius Curne. He is an offensive lineman / defensive lineman. He's the number 1 player out of the state of Arkansas for the 2025 class.
Mr. Carius Curne. Which school are you going to commit to this evening?
I'd like to commit to LSU Tigers.
There it is. A simple video, but Carius Curne announces he will be a member of the LSU 2025 class. A few of the details on Curne, and then I'll tell you a couple of other takeaways that I have from this this commitment in particular. So Curne is 6'4", 315. So this is a massive commitment, both literally and figuratively. 6'4", 315. On3 ranks him as the number 1 interior offensive lineman in the country. Now, if you look at the composite that combines On3, 247, ESPN, and Rivals, he is the number 5 interior offensive lineman in the country, the 84th best player nationally. If you just look at On3, they think very highly of Carius Curne. They have him as the 25th best player at any position and the number 1 interior offensive lineman in the country. So this is another big-time get for Brad Davis. And you're talking about also a guy that had offers not only and had been committed to his in-state Arkansas, but was down to Missouri and Ole Miss and had offers from everybody. Georgia had offered. Everybody had offered. I mean, again, he's the number 1 interior offensive lineman in the country, according to On3. He's a top 100 overall player in the composite. So a massive get. And also for LSU, adding Carius Curne now is your 12th commitment. And LSU is the number 2 class nationally when you look at the On3 recruiting rankings or the composite recruiting rankings. Ohio State maintains their spot number 1 but again, Ohio State's number 1 with 16 commits. LSU is number 2 with 12. Bama is up to number 3, but they got 17 commits. This is very clearly an instance of quality over quantity. LSU has the fewest commits among the top, among the top 7, and they're ranked 2nd in the country. So LSU's building a monster class, and we know Carius Curne, the number 1 interior offensive lineman, Bryce Underwood, the number 1 quarterback, Harlan Berry, the number 1 running back. You got Jabari Antoine, who's a top 10 cornerback in the country. LSU is just building a massive, massive class here. A few things. I think we have to give major kudos to Brad Davis. When Carius Curne committed, he gave an interview to On3, and I want to read this quote. Quote, "It's about developing me in every aspect of my life." Speaking of his relationship with Brad Davis. "He's real honest and tells me this will be hard, but they have the resources and people to develop me as a person, a student, and as an athlete." Y'all, if I rewind the clock a couple of years, there was a lot of y'all who were ready to run Brad Davis out of town. And you know who you are, and I don't need to go do old takes exposed on Twitter. You know who you are, and you probably all have done a mea culpa by this point. But if you remember, Brad Davis was the only member of Ed Orgeron's staff that Brian Kelly retained. And in that first game of Brian Kelly's era, Garrett Dellinger started at center. Will Campbell is a true freshman, was your left tackle. Emory Jones didn't take long before he took the job over at right tackle. But the point being, I mean, what he inherited, what was left in the wake of the Orgeron era was a mess. And by the end of that 22 season, LSU was really good on the offensive line. And last year, they were downright dominant. And this year, they might just be the best offensive line in college football. Brad Davis was Brian Kelly's smartest decision when he got hired, retaining Brad Davis. And look at the pipeline of talent that he has pumped through here, starting with Will Campbell and Emory Jones. I know Lance Hurd is no longer here, but you got a 5-star Lance Hurd here. DJ Chester, a 4-star, is about to be your starting center. Weston Davis, Cohen Eccles, Ethan Callaway, now Carius Curne. I mean, LSU has not recruited on the offensive line at this level for as long as I have covered the team, and I'm about to go on season 18. So this is incredible what they're doing on the offensive line. And a big part of the credit goes to Brian Kelly because he has recruited and developed and focused on offensive line. We talked about that the day he got hired. But also Brad Davis, who's been incredible at identifying this talent, getting them to campus, and developing them once they're here and turning them into professionals, into draftable players and high draftable players. So when I look at Curne specifically and how this may shape out, and by the way, Shea Dixon, when he was with us, also talked about Curne and the success that Brad Davis has had.
he is the number one player in Arkansas. He's also the number one interior offensive lineman in the country on 3. That would give Brad Davis 3 O-line top 100 commits already this cycle. He was committed to Arkansas at one point, visited Baton Rouge in the spring, and a couple of days later backed off that commitment. Now that he's had the official visit, I think things are looking good there. And no shocker, Matt, it feels like every year, because it is, that Brad Davis has been on the staff. He's put together arguably the best position group of anyone on, the coaching staff.
3 top 100 commits already in this class on the offensive line. So when you look at what the future of LSU's offensive line looks like right now, keep in mind, you're losing 4 starters after 2024. You may have the best offensive line in the country this year, but you're losing Campbell and Jones and Frazier and Dellinger. DJ Chester will be back as your starting center. But every other job in 2025 is going to be open. I fully expect LSU will go into the transfer portal, try to add veteran depth, because you can. You certainly want to recruit and develop your talent, and they've done a great job of that. But just like a couple of years ago when they added Miles Frazier, if you have 4 starting jobs open and you can add a guy who's got 20-plus starts in college football, you do it. You add someone with veteran depth, and you hope that your young guys continue to grow and develop and become awesome players like Campbell and Jones and Dellinger all have, and Chester hopefully will. And you've got a long list of those guys. I just rattled off all the names. But there's no reason why Carius Curne couldn't come in 2025 and compete for a starting job at one of the guard spots. It's a giant unknown right now, but we saw them start Campbell and Emory Jones when they were freshmen because they were the best guys. And so that's a hell of a testament that Brian Kelly and Brad Davis can go to Carius Curne and say, look, we're losing 4 starters, including both guards. You come in here as a true freshman, you're ready to roll. There's a chance you could be starting game 1 as a true freshman because it's already happened within the last 3 seasons. So a massive get for LSU for a ton of reasons. It's going to be a giant position of need after this season. It is a player who's from the state of Arkansas. You got him to flip from Arkansas to LSU. A lot of reasons that you love adding Carius Curne. So congrats to Brian Kelly, Brad Davis, and the Tigers on adding another blue-chip prospect to this 2025 class. I know we talked about it yesterday, but when you start to try to project, 2 and 3 years down the line, you look at the bumper crop this class in 2025 and the bumper crop in Louisiana in 2026, and it's easy to see how LSU is going to have a championship caliber roster again in the very near future. 1-85. All right, our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. Hey, remember, get on by to any of the Mockler Beverage social media platforms and look for the Zach Bryan post. And you'll see, by the way, Bud Light, Folds of Honor, awesome partners there together. And you'll see the QR code. Scan that QR code. That's your opportunity to win tickets. So if you want to see Zach Bryan in the Superdome in July, you can do it courtesy of our friends at Mockler Beverage and Bud Light. Just go find that social media post with Zach Bryan on it on Facebook or Instagram, any of the Mockler Beverage social media platforms. Scan the QR code for your chance to win tickets to see Zach Bryan in the Dome coming up next month. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Okay, LSU lands a big offensive line commitment. Meanwhile, the Saints have added another piece of their secondary in free agency, although probably not the name a lot of people were hoping to hear. We'll talk about it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Action Industries, a proud partner of LSU Athletics. And one of the things that I love telling you about Action Industries is that they know who they are. Action Industries knows who they are and what they're good at. The 100-man job, that's their sweet spot. So if you've hired one of these, huge contractors and you feel like your job isn't a priority because it's not this $200 million job, well, then what you need is Action Industries. Because when you hire Action Industries, they're going to give you the service that maybe sometimes bigger companies lack on some of these quote-unquote smaller jobs. They'll take the general foreman for the job instead of a superintendent. Action will always send their best to your job. It's Action Industries. Look, call and ask for Chuck, who's the VP over there. Love talking to Chuck and all about the business and getting to know him. They mean what they say over at Action Industries. Online, actionindinc.com. Check them out on LinkedIn as well. It's Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
Value Ford has $10,000 off F-150. $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And all new Value Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Value Ford is going to do right by you.
Go Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Hey, congrats to Angel Reese. 7 straight double-doubles. That's a WNBA rookie record. So she has had no problem transitioning her game to the pro level as Bayou Barbie, just cruising. So congrats to Angel Reese on the great start to her professional career. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Jardin Gilbert, LSU transfer safety, is going to be here next hour. I'm excited to have Jardin in studio. We connected and arranged to have him in, and you know, I look at talked about it a bit last week or a couple of weeks ago about how I think Jardin Gilbert actually is going to should be LSU's most impactful transfer. While I fully understand that there's more exciting positions, like if you want to look at maybe one of the receivers, we're certainly looking at defensive tackle because there's jobs to be won there. I look at what Blake Baker did at Missouri, and in each of his 2 seasons there as the defensive coordinator, the top 2 tacklers each of the last 2 seasons at Missouri were defensive backs, were their safeties. So you got to be better there. You got to upgrade, and it's something that they did clearly this year in adding Jardin Gilbert, a guy who was from Baton Rouge, played at U High, went to A&M out of high school, played as a freshman, started a year ago or 2 seasons ago, then last year was a starter until he was injured, and now in the portal coming home to Baton Rouge. So, that's an important piece for LSU, especially in a league where you should have some elite quarterback play this year. When you look around the conference, if it's Carson Beck, who we'll see if LSU plays them, but Jackson Dart, I guess you can throw Jalen Milroe in there as well, because most people seem to, even though I'm not high on Jalen Milroe. You're going to face some good quarterbacks and some teams that open it up. So you got to be better in the secondary. I think Jardin Gilbert's going to be a big piece of that. So Jardin Gilbert will be in studio next hour, and you're looking forward to having him here to talk a little bit about his decision to come to LSU and the decision to come to LSU and why he picked LSU and how spring went and all that stuff. So looking forward to that coming up in a little more than an hour from right now, right at about the bottom of hour number 2. All right, it's after further review. The Saints, speaking of safeties, Saints added a free agent safety. I want to touch on that in a second. Of course, Supper Club is open tonight, y'all. Tuesday to Saturday. If you want to get your weekend started early, get by Supper Club. They unveiled the new menu items a couple of weeks ago, and it has been going awesome. The summer is here. If you're not taking off for a vacation, maybe a little staycation this summer, make Supper Club part of your staycation, because I'm telling you, the dining experience you'll have at Supper Club is something you won't find anywhere else in Louisiana. Truly, it is an unmatched experience in Louisiana. When you go and experience it, you'll understand. From all of the ambiance, the beaded art, the curved walls, the fun carpet, the music, you'll understand. There's nothing else in Louisiana like it. But then there's the food story to tell as well. If it's the Omi beef, that's the steak that they sell, that they used to give to samurais from the 400-year-old farm that I've told you about, from the veal parm with the veal chop cutlet that's there on the table, and then they bring it breaded and fried, and then they actually lay the layer of the cheese and then grate the Parmesan right tableside. If you wanted expressive cocktails and great desserts, there's just nothing like it. It's Supper Club. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com for Supper Club. Go celebrate anything at Supper Club. By the way, remember, also open seating at the bar. So if you want to knock off of work today, start the weekend early on a Thursday, get by Supper Club. Open seating at the bar. Just walk on in, have a cocktail, a glass of wine, get your weekend started right at Supper Club. So when the Saints went into this offseason, they let Marcus May go. One of the things that we talked about pretty openly here at the safety position was, look, Marcus May missed 10 games a year ago, and so we saw a ton of Jordan Howden and Jonathan Abram. And they played well opposite Tyrann Mathieu. So my point was, I don't really care that they let Marcus May go. I think it's the right decision. And I think they could be just fine with Howden and Abram, because both of those guys played really well a year ago when Marcus May wasn't there. The problem you had was just a numbers problem, because you lost Marcus May and then didn't replace him with another player until they went and signed Will Harris from Detroit, which fits the mold exactly of what the Saints were looking for, a depth piece, a rotational piece, a guy who can also play special teams for you, who's been a starter in the league. And so I love that. That really felt like you were done there, unless if you could add a premium piece at safety. More on that in just a smidge. We'll get to more on that in just a smidge. But we learned on Thursday that the Saints did add another safety who was in New Orleans for mandatory minicamp and was at minicamp on a tryout basis. And it's a guy that a lot of people in this area know well. It's Roderic Teamer. So Roderic Teamer is from New Orleans, who prepped at Brother Martin, shout out, my dad's class of 71 grad, who went to Tulane and then started his NFL career with the Chargers and then spent the last 3 years with the Raiders. He spent 2 seasons in Las Vegas as a teammate of Derek Carr's, because of course he did. There's a part of this story that's undeniably linked to Derek Carr and the Raiders. Now, it's worth mentioning Teamer was waived 6 games after 6 games a year ago because he had a DUI arrest in Las Vegas. He was arrested for DUI, and the team waived him. So he's a free agent, tried out for the Saints, and now they've signed him. The Raider component of this is something that we talked about a lot a year ago, and I understood a year ago. The Saints went all in on Derek Carr. And so if you have committed to Derek Carr being your franchise, then put people around Derek Carr that are going to help him manifest his best season. If Derek Carr likes a lineman or a receiver or a tight end, or that he says that safety is a good locker room guy, good culture fit, great. I understand it. I'm not saying you let Derek Carr make your roster decisions for you, but because you have so much invested in Derek Carr, yeah, he kind of should have a say. I mean, hell, LeBron James just hired the coach of the Lakers. Anyway, so the Saints signed last year Brian Edwards. and Foster Moreau. And now they've got Nathan Peterman. And they signed Jonathan Abram. And a month ago, they signed Kendall Vickers. And a week ago, they signed Jesper Hurstead. And now they signed Justin Herron this offseason, the offensive lineman. And now they've added Roderic Teamer. They're basically just signing the Raiders roster from the past 2 seasons or 3 seasons. Every time they're looking for a free agent. And if the Raiders were like a good model organization, then I could see some value in that. But the Raiders aren't any good. I mean, the last time Derek Carr was there in 2022, they were 6-11. In 21, they went 10-7. Prior to that, 8-8, 7-9, 4-12, 6-10. I mean, you're pillaging one of the worst organizations in sports. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why that's the team that you're going after. It did a year ago because you were trying to surround Derek Carr with guys that made him comfortable. It don't make any sense anymore. Go get guys that are going to make your team better. Now, maybe Roderic Teamer can be that. But when I look, and by the way, the other component of this is that it is a cool story. Dude is from New Orleans, went to Brother Martin, went to Tulane, now gets to play for the Saints. That is a pretty awesome trifecta. When you get to play at 3 different levels, I guess 4 if you include like youth, Park League, you get to play every level of organized football in your hometown. That's awesome. That's a really cool story, and I pull for him, and I hope he does awesome. The other thing I look at really, though, is that safety room now is just really crowded. And I don't know that they really have more room for just another body, a camp body. You've got Tyron, you've got Jonathan Abram, you've got Howden, and then you've got Will Harris, the 4 that I just mentioned. You've also got JT Gray, who's going to make the team, who's a backup he's a backup safety, but really he's your special teams ace. And you've also got rookie safeties Lawrence Johnson and Millard Bradford in the mix as well. So you don't need more camp bodies at safety, and I don't know that there's a starting spot or a spot on this roster to be one, unless if you are like an elite level player, which is the other interesting part of it. Because ESPN put out this piece where they were looking at one final roster move for each NFL team. And the guy they mentioned, it's not like unique to this piece over at ESPN. Like everyone has mentioned this. It's Justin Simmons. Like, could the Saints go out because you didn't, you obviously let Marcus May walk. You flat missed on that. But Justin Simmons is a guy who's a veteran player who's been a Pro Bowl caliber safety. He's a second-team All-Pro 4 times. He led the NFL in receptions in interceptions 2 seasons ago. He's 30 years old. So you've got a guy here who spent his whole career with the Broncos, who's available, and would make a ton of sense to get, it's weird to say it this way, to get younger. You sign a 30-year-old, you get younger. But when you look at Tyron, who's now past 30 years old, you kind of are. But you certainly get a guy who, at his high, has a much higher ceiling, likely, than the other guys we mentioned. So if you can add Justin Simmons, and he immediately makes you better and is a starter when he comes in, cool. Adding bodies right now at safety, I don't know that that's actually the route. Now, back in the owners' meetings in March, at the end of March, when they do that the breakfast where like every head coach sits at a table and the media can come sit at his 10-top table in the hotel ballroom and ask him questions or whatever. Well, Dennis Allen was asked about the safety spot opposite Tyrann Mathieu and if it was set. Here's what he said.
I think it's still going to be something that we're going to be looking at. When you really look at Tyrann Mathieu is kind of the proven commodity back there, and then look, we just brought Jonathan Abram back. Howden was a young player that we felt like did some good things, and yet, I don't think any of us are ready to just hand the position over to him. I think that's something that's got to be earned.
So it is fair to mention that was in March, the end of March. A little more than a month later, 5 weeks later, is when they signed Will Harris from Detroit. So the question is Will Harris that answer to go in and compete or to be the starter? Or do you try to add another starting caliber, all-pro caliber safety in Simmons? That's what we'll wait to see. The Saints have freed up a bunch of cap space. They could certainly offer a one-year deal on a veteran-type deal to Will Harris, similar to what they did with Chase Young. That would certainly be doable. But for Simmons, it's kind of a question of, do you have other options? Do you want to play in New Orleans? Do you want to go to a team that has a better chance to win? And that's kind of a crowded position group now. But it's a cool story, adding Roderic Teamer. I just don't know if that's the guy that I was thinking they would add to try to bolster that secondary at this point. Okay, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Man, if you have, it's been amazing too, by the way. Just a brief moment of thanks. You know, y'all know that I'm a partner in Parish Construction and Roofing. Me and Terrio and Richard Tilley, you know, we spent the last 3.5 years partnered with another company, and we had a great run, and we made the decision all collectively that we would start our own company, which we did, and the response has been amazing here in these first few months. So sincerely, thank you for that. But if you have any issues with your roof, we'd love to help you. If it's commercial, residential, industrial, it doesn't matter how the small the residential repair or large the commercial or industrial replacement might be. We'd love to help. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com for Parish Construction and Roofing. And I want to remind you one more time, I know I mentioned this yesterday, but if you're a homeowner and you've had damage, you've called your insurance company, they sent an adjuster out, they sent you your scope of work paperwork, we would love to help you with that. We have insurance professionals on staff that can explain what that means, what your options are. Essentially, our whole goal is from the moment you call us, you don't have to do anything except pick out your shingle color. It's Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com for Parish Construction and Roofing. Okay, it's after further review. Thanks for being here with us on this Thursday edition of AFR. We're flipping things around just a smidge because Jardin Gilbert's going to be here 1 hour from right now. So we'll do Around the SEC, Tigers and the Pros. I will give you my thoughts on Texas A&M and Tennessee in the College World Series final. Matthew Paris will be with us in 30 minutes from right now. Interesting piece about comparing the Saints situation with Alvin Kamara to what the Niners did with Christian McCaffrey. So we'll kind of go through that a little bit with Matthew Paris in about 30 minutes from right now. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Man, love being a part of the G team. Tell you about it every single day. I say it every day that if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, or call the 888-8888. That's 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You know, over the last 30 years, Gordon and his team have represented more than 10,000 Louisiana residents. And they've recovered more than $2 billion in damages. So, you need an experienced attorney. You need Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. An experienced attorney that loves the community and the people of Louisiana, that's invested so much into our communities as well. You need Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, or call 888-8888. That's 888-8888. Get Gordon and get it done.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it
Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Join 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge at the Texas Club Friday night for Rockstar Search, Battle of the Louisiana Bands, presented by Parish Construction and Roofing.
Hey.
We've chosen 5 incredible bands from throughout the state to battle it out for a chance to open for Kenny Wayne Shepherd's July 13th show at the Raising Cane's River Center. The doors open at 7 and the first band goes on at 8. Tickets are just $20 at the door. For tickets and other information, visit thetexasclub.com.
I'll be there. Michelle Southern will be in studio with us in hour number 3. Give us a little bit of a lowdown on what to expect. Really cool to get to do this, and looking forward to it. So we'll be out at the Texas Club tomorrow after the show. What time is it? Doors 7, show at 8, you said?
Correct. Doors 7, band at 8.
All right. So we'll see who wins, man. Whoever wins gets to open up for Kenny Wayne Shepherd, which is just freaking awesome. So, all right. It's after further review. The College World Series finals are set, and it is an all-SEC affair again. This, if you're an LSU fan, probably the worst-case scenario to have a Tennessee-Texas A&M final, because one of these teams will win their first baseball national championship. And I'm not a cheer for the SEC guy. You know that. The best-case scenario going in was that any of the 4 ACC teams win it. Anytime a team you're competing with for both on the field and then for recruits and transfers now, anytime they can hang a banner or have another chip to play in any type of recruiting pitch, that's not a good thing for you. So I'm not excited about Tennessee or Texas A&M, one of them winning their first national championship. What gives me a little bit of ease is I said the same exact thing in 2021 and 2022 when Mississippi State and Ole Miss each won their first national championship. And quite honestly, it hasn't mattered a lick. They both have great facilities. They're both in the SEC. They have, Mississippi State certainly has really good tradition. They've both now won a national title, and both programs have been dog poop since. So, whatever. They get to wear a hat and put a sign on a wall that's actually legitimate, and okay. In this situation, both of these teams have a lot of resources. And in the immediacy, it stinks because one of the players you're going hardest after in the portal this year is Gavin Killen, who's the shortstop from Louisville, who's already visited Tennessee and is waiting for Texas A&M to finish their College World Series run to visit College Station. It would really suck if the number 1 player in the portal who you're trying to sign, his last visit is for a championship parade in College Station. That would stink, just flatly. That would not be good. But those two teams are also spending an exorbitant amount of money in NIL, more than LSU or anybody is spending, certainly Texas A&M. So if it just comes down to money, it's just what it's going to be anyway. But I look at this. So I look at this from this standpoint and say, from my perspective, it's just which is the lesser of two evils. And I just think A&M people are nice. They are. They're nicer. Tony Vitello and the culture he's built around Tennessee, they're a bunch of a-holes. I don't think they're good for baseball. I said that when they got eliminated 2 years ago. There's nothing endearing about Tennessee. There's nothing about that team, that coach, that roster, that fan base, anything that makes you want to wish any amount of success on them. With A&M, I get it. It would be their first. The joke is that they've never won anything, and they haven't. But neither had Mississippi State or Ole Miss, and it hasn't changed much. At least A&M people are nice. They are. I mean, they're weird with the milkmen who do the chants and the little hand gestures and the bubbles and all that stuff. Yeah, all the corny jokes at midnight yell. Yes, it's weird and it's cringe and all that stuff. But they're nice people. If you ever go to College Station, like, they take a lot of pride in that. You know, the whole howdy culture and everything. So the lesser of two evils, I think Jim Schlossnagle is a great coach. Obviously has ties to Louisiana. Was a longtime assistant at Tulane. If I had to like just hold my nose and pick one, I would pick A&M. That's who I think would be a better representative to win a championship than Tennessee. So that's what I'll hope for. All right. And by the way, also when we did our snake draft, me, Muse, and Mincy, I did have A&M. Did Mincy have Tennessee?
Mincy had Tennessee. Yes.
Okay. It would be very apropos if A&M won this and I won the snake draft and picked the national champion as well.
Yeah,
considering the way the season went.
They were the odds-on favorite going in, so in a snake draft format, it makes sense. But yes,
Tennessee was the number one seed.
I get it, but A&M was the odds-on favorite.
And that was before. Well, we knew about Montgomery.
We did know about Braden Montgomery. Well, yes, we did know about Braden.
No, we did it. No.
We did it at the start of the NCAA tournament.
We did the start of the tournament.
Yeah, so we didn't.
Yeah, I don't think A&M was the odds-on favorite at the start of the tournament.
They were plus 325. Tennessee was right behind them.
Like 326.
I think it was 400 or 500, 4-1 or 5-1.
We'll go back and check it. But yes, I did have A&M in the snake draft before the whole thing started, and I would just love to see Tennessee not win again. We'll see. Championship series is set. Tennessee and Texas A&M there in Omaha. Brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Y'all, storm season is here. Storm season is here, and if you just close your eyes for a moment, you can think of a time, if you've lived here long enough, where your power went out due to a storm. Maybe it was all the way back in Andrew. Maybe it was Katrina, Rita. Maybe it was Gustav. Maybe it was Ida. Maybe it was Delta or Zeta or any of the storms that we've talked about or haven't mentioned, but you remember. Like, you remember what it was like being in your home with no power. And at the time, you thought to yourself, God, I never want to do this again. Well, we all know storm season comes, storms come, and it knocks out power. And I'll tell you, my family, we'll never have to do that again because we had a Generac automatic home standby generator installed, and you should as well, and you should call Optimize because they're the generator people. It's all they do. They sell, service, and install generators. Think of it this way. If you call another company, let's say there's like an HVAC company that sells generators, and the technician that's coming to your house to install the generator or service it, what if like half their day or most of their day, they're working on HVAC units, and then they're going to come work on your generator? Would you rather that or someone who all they do is work with Generac automatic home standby generators all day, every day? The answer is easy. It's Optimize. They're Louisiana's #1 Generac dealer, 4 physical locations, so they service the entire 1012 corridor from Lake Charles all the way to Slidell and every point in between. So give them a shout. Go to the website, GeneratorPeople.com. It's easy, 2 words, GeneratorPeople.com. And if you don't think you can afford it, $600 down payment, they have a financing option for any budget. GeneratorPeople.com. Let this be the day. Let this be the day that you finally reach out and get that generator installed. GeneratorPeople.com. Okay, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Auburn Tigers.
Auburn's expected to hire former Texas A&M defensive back coach T.J. Rushing as a special assistant. Matt Zenitz had it first. I spent time at Arizona State, Northern Arizona, Memphis, and most recently, of course, at Texas A&M. Now headed to the Plains.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss has canceled a home-and-home series with USC. Are we sure it was Ole Miss, or was it Lincoln Riley running scared from another SEC team? Chicken. Ole Miss already has the Citadel, Wake Forest, and Tulane on their 2025 schedule. Charlotte, Georgia State, Eastern Kentucky are on the 2026 slate. That could very well mean if you're looking toward a 9-game league schedule why you would drop that one, but we'll see.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
TCU transfer outfielder Logan Maxwell has committed to Arkansas out of the transfer portal. Batted over 300 each of the last 2 seasons there at TCU, but had just 3 homers on the year this past season, so not a power bat. Rising senior, spent 3 years at Fort Worth, so 1 year of eligibility remaining.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
And Vandy outfielder Cooper Holbrook has entered the transfer portal, the 4th player in 2 days to do so. Didn't play at all in 2023, played just 4 games this past season with 12 plate appearances. All right, there you have it. That is around the SEC. One more thing I should mention, Arkansas's Hagen Smith earned another honor. He was the National Pitcher of the Year by the College Baseball Foundation. So congrats to Hagen Smith. He was awesome, and thank God we won't see him anymore. Okay. All right, it's after further review. Let's knock out our final break here of hour number 1. We'll come back. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros again. We're flipping things around a little bit today because we're going to have Jardin Gilbert in studio here in about 45 minutes from right now. So we'll spend a couple of segments with Jardin Gilbert. So we'll come back, do Tigers and the Pros. Matthew Paris covers the Saints for NOLA.com. He's here in 15 minutes. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions. Excited about it. I'm going to get to go see my friends over at Glow tomorrow, have a little meeting, update some talking points and what's going on here now that we've hit the summer months. But one thing remains true always with Glow Resources. If you're tired of the rat race, if you're tired of hiring unreliable workers, Glow Resources can help. If you're tired of hiring people that are slow to work, they take 2 hours to do a job that should take 30 minutes. If you're finding people who don't show up for whatever reason and you need more reliable employees, Glow Resources can help. They, on the front end screening process, know the right questions asked. Do you have reliable transportation? Do you have any upcoming appointments? Are you expecting the birth of a child? Anything like that that could potentially take a worker away from the job site that makes you more efficient. It's Glow Resources. They have a 93% retention rate. You need employees. You need Glow Resources. glowresources.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150. $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Matthew Parris, NOLA.com, talking some Saints in 11 minutes. Jardin Gilbert in studio. Little, about 40 minutes from right now, bottom of hour two right now, though. Muso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Start with some Major League Baseball from last night. Josh Smith continues his career year for the Texas Rangers. He's finally got an opportunity to start with an injury, and he has made the most of it. 1 for 3 last night. His 17th double of the season. Drove in a run as well. Beautiful pull side down the right field line. Gives Smith also, on the year, 29 RBI. His .298 batting average ranks top 15 in Major League Baseball. His 17 doubles rank top 20 in Major League Baseball. Just a fantastic year so far for Josh Smith. Alex Bregman, currently matinee baseball for the Astros. Bregman 3 for 5 on the day with 3 singles and a run scored. Minor league action. Remember we told you in Dylan Cruz's debut, he wore the collar 0 for 5 and that he would bounce back. Well, bounce back he did. Got his first AAA hit last night. Solo homer, opposite field shot, something we've obviously become accustomed to seeing for Dylan Cruz. It was only a hit of the night, but obviously a big one there. Paul Gervais picked up save number 4 on the season for the former Tiger righty. 1 shutout inning, perfect inning as a matter of fact, with 2 strikeouts, up to 26 Ks so far on the year in AA. The strikeouts ended the game. They were out number 2 in 3 of the inning, a 3.86 ERA.
I wish they'd send Paul back down.
So far. Yeah, I know you do. That's solely because he'd play for the Brooklyn Cyclones. And then we could play Cyclone, and you could dance on the desk, and we could send it to Reggie and all those things.
I miss it.
I do too. It was great. It was great. We need somebody to be drafted by the Mets here in July.
That'd be great.
Eric Razelman back on the bump last night for Hudson Valley. Inning and 2/3 shutout ball with a strikeout, still with a 0 ERA over there in high A baseball. Angel Reese, we mentioned it off the top there, or I shouldn't say earlier in the show. Another double-double, her 7th straight double-double. That is now a WNBA rookie record, 16 points, 18 rebounds for Angel Reese. Picking up, really hadn't missed a beat, just picking up where she left off at LSU. Double-doubles everywhere for her. The Travelers Championship first round underway. Sam Burns birdied 3 of the last 4 holes of the day to shoot a 3 under 67. He is currently tied for 18th, 5 shots off the lead. That is Tigers in the pros.
No Curtis Thompson update?
No Curtis Thompson update
Thought
today.
So.
We've had a lot of Curtis Thompson updates as of late. There just isn't one today. I'm sorry.
What about Nuss and Cloth?
Well, they've completed all their trials and whatnot. They're the number 2 seed in the Olympics.
How about an update?
We went over that. They're training. Matt, the Olympics start next month.
How about an update?
That's your update?
On how their training's going.
I would assume it's going very well.
You would assume,
They're great.
or you could make a call and you could find out. Send an email. Slide up in somebody's DMs. Isn't that what the kids do these days, Muse?
Could be. They say it goes down in the DMs.
And just give her your IG.
Well, I don't understand why I would need to give her my IG. You would just DM. I mean,
isn't that what the kids say?
I don't know that.
Can I get your IG?
Can I get your IG?
Can I get your Instagram?
Yeah. Can I get your Snapchat?
I've never
A really
understood
young
that
kids.
part either, because didn't you just go like to this little search magnifying glass and just type in their name?
Well, sometimes people have names that are different from their handle.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean that can be or maybe there's multiple people with that name.
But then you just look at their profile picture.
You could.
Trust me,
do
over
that
the course of doing this job for as long as I have, you're learning it now as well. When you're trying to run down people for interviews, you get really good at finding people online.
You do.
Condon has said for many years when I worked with Rich back in like 07, 08, he's like, Moscona gives the best Google. Like when it comes to trying to find something online, when it comes to finding, ask him. When it comes to finding something online, I mean, I got really good at it. Yeah, you gotta search and find it.
What a sentence.
Yeah, Moscona gives the best Google. That's what Condon would say all the time.
That's beautiful.
Moscona, nobody gives Google like you. That's what he says. God bless Richard Condon. Okay, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. You want to see 2020, call 924-2020. Y'all, summer's here. Parents, listen. Summer's here. Make sure you schedule the eye exam for your kiddos this summer before they go back to school. Don't wait until the end of summer when everybody's getting their haircuts and everybody's going to buy school supplies and everybody's going to the eye doctor. Like, do it now. It's June. Do it now before things get super crazy at the end of July and beginning of August. It's the Williamson Eye Center with locations all over Greater Baton Rouge. Of course, get eye care, eyewear, and eye surgery. So schedule that eye exam. You can buy your contacts or glasses. Remember, if you want to ditch those contacts and glasses forever, schedule that consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson at 924-2020. 924-2020, williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. All right, y'all. It's After Further Review. Muse, do you have the odds on the College World Series? I forgot to look that up. On the championship series?
Oh, pulled up. I don't have them pulled up. I'm sorry.
All right, I'll look it up. Who do you like?
I like Tennessee. I think Tennessee's going to win. I think it's their time.
You can elaborate a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I mean, I love the depth on the mound with the pitching set up. I think they have the best lineup in the country. I mean, Christian Moore's arguably the best player in the country. The fact he's not a Golden Spikes finalist is shocking. A&M, the injuries. I like Tennessee.
Tennessee minus 160, A&M plus 124. I'll take the Aggies. It's After Further Review. Matthew Parrish, NOLA.com next.
AFR.
If you got odor in your home, in your office, like what is that smell? Or maybe you know what the smell is. Maybe it's pet smell. Maybe you bought a home, they had pets before, and it smells like dog, and no matter what plug-ins you use, you just can't get rid of it. You need Parrish Restoration. Mold Zero, Pure Restoration, now Parrish Restoration. It's all the same thing. They rebranded. Now they've partnered with my partners, Richard Tilley and Ryan Terrio, put everything under the Parrish umbrella. So it's Parrish Restoration. So go to the website, parrishbuilt.com, hit the Restoration tab, and you'll get Jim Woodworth and the gang over at Parrish Restoration. It's so easy, y'all. So, I mean, half a day for a residential home. I mean, come in, they'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog, and it's important to mention that it's dry fog. So, I mean, for very obvious reasons. You don't have to cut sheetrock or pull out carpet or anything of the sort. They can go in, they'll spray their dry fog. As soon as the fog dissipates, boom, you're back in free and clear and a fresh-smelling home as well. It's Parrish Restoration. Go to parrishbuilt.com.
Value Ford has $10,000 off F-150. $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And all new Value Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Value Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the one-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports J.J. Redick will be the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. He'll get a 4-year contract. ESPN's Dave McMenamin covers the Lakers.
There's risk involved. He's never coached a game other than for his children, but it's a worthy gamble, and he's going to step in with the confidence and I think the self-assurance it takes to stand in the storm that happens almost every year with the Lakers and with LeBron James teams.
Dave McMenamin on NBA Today. Redick played 15 seasons in the NBA before retiring 3 years ago. He'd been working as an analyst for ESPN. Yankees captain Aaron Judge is back in the lineup today against the Orioles just 2 days after getting hit in the left hand with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball from Baltimore starter Albert Suarez. The NCAA will consider expanding the men's and women's basketball tournaments. Right now, there are 3 proposals up for discussion: expanding the tournaments to 72 or 76 teams, or leaving them at 68 teams.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen coming up Friday with NBA free agency days away. I'll tell you which players need a new team if they want to be title contenders. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. LSU safety Jardin Gilbert in studio 30 minutes from right now. Looking forward to that. Well, when the Saints wrapped up mandatory minicamp last week, one of the really interesting storylines, of course, was that Alvin Kamara no-showed on the final day. Or I should say showed and then left, and then we later learned it's a contract dispute. He effectively has nothing guaranteed beyond 2024, and there's just no chance the Saints are going to pay him $25 million a year from now. So how does this get resolved? Matthew Paris over at NOLA.com has an interesting piece up where he sort of analyzed what the Niners did with Christian McCaffrey, how that could parallel with Alvin Kamara. Matthew Paris, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Hey, man, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We appreciate the time. Let me start with what happened with Kamara leaving. Generally, what was the reaction around Saints minicamp when Kamara left?
Yeah. So, full disclosure, I wasn't actually there on that day. But, just talking to people, there wasn't really a surprise because even though Kamara has 2 years left on his contract, he's basically entering the final year of his deal. He's set to have a $25 million cap hit next year. That's the Saints aren't going to pay him that money, right? They propped up a kind of an end of they ballooned the final year of that deal to make the average seem better than it was when he signed his original contract back in 2020. So that number is kind of just there for salary cap purposes, but there's little chance he actually receives that money. And so with Kamara going into the final year of his deal, he wanted to send a message.
How do you think that message is being received in New Orleans by the organization right now?
Yeah, I don't think they were surprised. That we reported that they had been talking before this, that they had kind of reached a stalemate, so to say. So, that's in his prerogative to do so. He took a similar measure back in 2020 by skipping a few training camp practices. So he's done something like this before. He was trying to make a statement. I think they heard it, but this is also a pretty disciplined front office with what they want to do financially. They've found ways to be creative. So I think they'll have to find a compromise here if they want to keep Alvin Kamara.
It's interesting, Matthew, to hear you use the term discipline when we talk about the Saints' financial component. But there's some truth to that, right? They're as irresponsible as they are with the way they spend sometimes, when they're committed to a number for a player, they don't budge. We've seen players like Marcus Williams and Mark Ingram, players that the Saints would love to have had, Trey Hendrickson, but the Saints have their number and they just won't budge off of it. So they are there. So do we know what the Saints would be willing to do, or at least in what ballpark, for Alvin Kamara?
We don't. There are similar deals. Like the point of writing the McCaffrey piece that you mentioned was seeing, all right, how much does this actually set the stage for running backs in their late 20s like Kamara is to get rewarded with a big deal? Does it actually change the market? I talked to a salary cap expert who used to work for the Washington Commanders. He's an NFL agent now. He was a little skeptical. He said the stars kind of have to align for a deal. And, Kamara's situation is pretty different than McCaffrey. Besides the overall production that McCaffrey has that is greater than Kamara, Kamara is really entering kind of a new situation in terms of there's a new offensive staff in place. They want him to show that he can be more productive than he has been. So, for a McCaffrey deal to kind of line up, I don't think it's a one-for-one. But, you look at other deals around the league. The Texans, when they traded for Joe Mixon, they reworked his deal. The Ravens signed Derrick Henry to this offseason to a 2-year, $16 million deal. So you can still make money as a running back almost approaching 30 or in that range, but things have to go just right for you.
Is it fair to say, Matthew Paris is with us, NOLA.com, is it fair to say that the deals you just mentioned, which seems to be the underlying theme there, is they're all just shorter deals, like maybe a 2-year deal as opposed to some type of long-term extension, which I can't imagine the Saints would entertain a long-term extension for Alvin Kamara at this point.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it was pretty telling that they didn't touch his original deal this offseason, when they were doing when they were trying to create cap room to get cap compliant and do, the thing that they do every offseason, they left his contract alone. That gave them flexibility to where if they needed to move on after this season, they could cut him and save almost $19 million. So I think they've reached a point with him where they want to wait and see how he does this upcoming season and see how it goes. But there is some wiggle room in there where if they want to negotiate, maybe you bump up Kamara's pay for this year, you guarantee him some amount of money next year, and everyone calls it a day. But I guess that's just me speculating rather than knowing how it goes.
If you would, you mentioned maybe how Christian McCaffrey's deal might sort of set the market for running backs. At least that's with the cap expert that you talked to spoke. Explain, if you would, because I don't know all the inner workings of the Niners cap, and for our audience, what the Niners did with McCaffrey?
Yeah, so what the Niners did was Christian McCaffrey still had, like Kamara, he was through 2025. So what they did is they added 2 years to that, but then they also gave him some money up front. So they gave him a $4 million raise basically over the next 2 seasons to give him some money and reward his production. But significantly, and I think why it's pretty different, is they gave him $24 million in guarantees. And so, I think if you're Alvin Kamara and you look at that, you would want that. But I just don't think it's a one-for-one parallel for what the Saints are going to do, because $24 million is a big number.
How do you think this situation with Alvin Kamara resolves?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned it, but I do think there's some middle ground to be had if both sides want it. Where you give maybe Kamara a short-term raise or some small guarantees to encourage him to play this season or to make him happy, and give him some guaranteed money for next year, even if he does get cut. Now, I don't know that the Saints aren't under obligation to do any of this stuff. Kamara still, even though he's in the last year of his he's technically in the last year of his contract, but he's still under contract for 2025. So the Saints technically don't have to do anything, but this is also a player that means a lot to their franchise, and I think they generally do right by these sorts of players.
He's on Twitter at Matthew_Paris. It's Paras on Twitter. You want to go give him a follow, NOLA.com. It's going to be interesting as we get closer to camp. One more note. I just saw you tweeted this like 10 minutes ago. The Saints added a cornerback today on top of the safety?
Yes, yeah. Mac McCain, a guy who's really bounced around, and he entered the league as an undrafted free agent in 2021, has had some stints with the Broncos, the Eagles, the Lions, and I think...
he didn't play for the Raiders? Are you kidding me? That's not the guy that didn't play for the Raiders? It's unbelievable.
Yes, I know. Well, Hunter Renfro's still out there, so...
You bite your tongue. Matthew, it's a pleasure. Thanks for the time today, man. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right. Be well. Y'all follow him on Twitter. Yeah, the Saints did sign cornerback Mac McClain today. Matthew tweeted that as we were going to the top of the hour. So timing pretty good. That's a camp body. The Roderic Teamer piece, yeah, that feels like that's a guy who's played a lot in the NFL and could very well be a guy who makes the team and gives you Roderic Teamer, excuse me, who could well give you depth and maybe a special teams body, maybe like a practice squad guy that if there's an injury gets called up. I mean, he could. We've seen those types of players in the secondary for a lot of years in New Orleans. That would make sense. A local guy who gets the opportunity to come home. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for being here with us. Looking forward to having Jardin Gilbert in studio in about 20 minutes from right now. We'll talk a lot of LSU football with the transfer safety. What it was like at A&M, why he picked LSU, how it was going through spring, new coaches, not only with Corey Raymond back there, but Jake Olson with the safeties, Blake Baker, a new defensive coordinator, learning a new scheme, reacclimating to home, expectations being here, all that sort of stuff. So looking forward to having Jardin Gilbert in studio in just a little bit. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, there are some updated college football playoff odds that I found interesting, and I want to give you some takeaways. We'll do that next on AFR.
AFR.
Mark the date, y'all. Friday, July the 5th is the next evenings at the Renaissance. These are really cool events. So you've heard me for more than a year now talk about the Renaissance Hotel, the Watermark, of course, downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. And you've heard me talk about Tallulah and all the great vibe, the indoor-outdoor flow, and how, well, yes, it's a restaurant and bar inside of a hotel. It's not just like your typical lobby bar. This is a chef-curated, casual, upscale dining experience. And it's a great way to experience Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel and the Renaissance if you've never been for these evenings at the Renaissance. And the best part, it's totally complimentary. The spirit tasting is complimentary. So coming up on Friday, July the 5th, 6 until 8:30 p.m., there'll be a special tasting with Cantera Negra Tequila. So come on by, sample some premium cocktails, complimentary tastings of Cantera Negra Tequilas, and enjoy a night at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Kind of like that a little bit.
Oh, I can tell. You're letting it breathe, bobbing the head. Vibes are high over on that side of the desk.
Good. Got some updated college football playoff lines here that we'll get to, odds here in just a quick second. Also really cool. Y'all, I think probably talked about this while I was out. The Chiefs ring thing.
We did, yes.
Okay. So last week, the Chiefs got their rings, and there was an error on the inside of the ring. They engraved all the playoff games, and they had the Dolphins as the 6th seed instead of the 7, so they screwed that up. So Travis and Jason Kelsey just yesterday released a new episode of New Heights and their podcast. I don't know where Travis is. He's just got a white plaster wall behind him. I mean, it looks kind of like a hostage video, so intended to where you wouldn't know where he is in the world.
Taylor's house.
Maybe, but I don't think he's at Taylor's house. She's somewhere in Europe playing concerts right now. I know this because my wife is the biggest Swiftie in the world, and I get kept abreast of everything happening in Taylor Swift's life. Well, anyway, they did talk about the rings. Here's what Uncle Travie had to say.
We got our Super Bowl rings, and it was a unbelievable night.
There we go.
And the ceremony was broadcast live. Everybody was watching all over the world.
Let's take a look at this bad boy. 529 diamonds and 38 rubies. Totals 14.8 carats. Has the game-winning Tom and Jerry play on the inside. That's dope. One major little goof on the ring. Miami is listed as the 7 seed. Miami was actually the 6 seed. Are you going to get it fixed?
I don't give a
Does anybody care?
I like that we didn't give a fuck about what seed Miami is.
Just aesthetically, which of your Super Bowl
that's
rings
good. That's
is
all
your
we
favorite?
need. That's all we need. If it were me, like, I think it's one of those things where what was your thought on it?
Mine was Travis's. I don't care.
Don't care.
It's
Yeah.
on the inside of the ring. It's a seed. It's
Yeah,
not like they got your name wrong or the score wrong.
Nobody will see it. He did also say, I think it makes it more unique. Oh, yeah, we really made it more detailed, and oops, we screwed up. It just makes it more exclusive. We screwed up about something that means nothing. That's true, but I'm the kind of guy, like, I can't unsee something.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where if you didn't know it existed, it would never matter a lick to me at all. But now that I know I couldn't unsee it, I would probably want to get it fixed. But I'm also the one who, like, corrects people's grammar on Twitter because I'm a nerd. Like, it's just a pet peeve of mine, and so it would bother me. It would be so easy just to bring it to an engraver and just have it redone. Like, that would be a nothing fix. But I just loved his response. It's like, we didn't give a bleep what seed Miami was. Like, suffice to say, Travis Kelce is not going to get his ring fixed. Also, I've been prepping from home this week. I've been home with Drew. And Erica's preparing for Drew's birthday party, which annually is akin to like the presidential inauguration or the Olympic opening ceremony when it comes to our house, because Erica treats Drew's birthday like it's a national holiday. And so she's been printing a lot of things on cardstock paper. And so I was printing off show prep documents, and I realized I was printing them on cardstock. So I can't even do my crumple thing with these.
It's good and sturdy, though.
I tried to crumple, and look, it just split.
Yeah.
Like these are not going to crumple. It's really
a workout to get that
really,
thing, yeah.
really good cardstock paper there. Erica, if you're listening or watching, I used some of your cardstock for the Uncle Travie piece.
I'd say she might be mad you wasted her cardstock.
Maybe so. Well, you know what? She'll buy more. Trust me. She's got auto pay on Amazon. She'll have it at the house tomorrow on Prime. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Michele Weighing and Measurement, Michele.com. With more than 30 offices across 12 different states, continuing to grow and expand. Love telling you about Michele Weighing and Measurement. Remember, if you weigh or measure something, Michele sells, services, and rents the products that you use to weigh and measure. You can go to the website. You can hit the Industries tab to find out what industries they serve. You can hit the Calibration tab right there to see all the different types of calibration. If you want to request a quote, ship your equipment to Michele. If you have equipment that can't leave your facility or you don't want to leave your facility, on-site calibration is possible as well. Remember, ISO 17025 accredited services on necessary equipment. So go check it out at Michele Weighing and Measurement, Michele.com, Michele.com. There are some updated college football playoff odds. And what was interesting to me, and this was from BetMGM. So they've updated their odds to make the college football playoff. Again, not to win the national championship, but to make the college football playoff. And what was so interesting to me is 60% of the handle. By the way, the handle is the total, if you're not familiar, the total dollars bet, right? 60% is on two teams. Do you want to guess, Paulie, guess which 60% of the handle is on two teams? You want to guess which two they are?
Georgia and Ohio State.
You got one of them.
Okay.
Ohio State is one of them.
Okay.
You did not get the other one.
Wow. All right.
It's not Georgia. Paulie, you want to take a guess?
I'll say Texas.
It is not Texas.
Wow.
60% of the handle. This is a good guess. Georgia is Ohio State and Georgia, by the way, have the best odds to make the college football playoff. Followed by Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Penn State, Michigan, Alabama, LSU. But the handle, the money bet, which is a very public team that people put a lot of money on.
Alabama.
It's not Alabama. How about Coach Prime?
Oh, wow.
Colorado. Colorado at plus 2,000 to make the playoff. Ohio State and Colorado combine 60% of the handle. Pretty incredible to see that. But it's not a terrible bet at plus 2,000. Hear me out. No, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Colorado doesn't have to be one of the top 12 teams in America to make the playoff. They just have to win the Big 12.
Yeah.
a Big 12 that no longer has Texas or Oklahoma. So, and you've got Shedeur Sanders. So you have the quarterback, right? I mean, you have a first-round talent at quarterback. And a year ago, while everyone likes to poo-poo Colorado, and I don't blame you for how the season ended and all that stuff and how bad the offensive line was, I'll remind you, Deion inherited a team that won 1 game. And they won 4. That's a pretty remarkable turnaround to go from a team that could barely scratch a win to winning 4 games. Now, it ended badly, right? The quarterback, or the offensive line was really bad. But you have the quarterback. They hit the transfer portal again this past year. And I'll be very curious to see if they can find a way to win a bad Big 12. For what it's worth, Kansas State is the odds-on favorite to win the Big 12 at plus 275. And then Utah is plus 280. Remember, Utah's coming into the to the Pac-12 this year, or to the Big 12 as well. So, and then Colorado, Arizona State. So, I mean, just saying, plus 2,000
to make it.
This
isn't to win it. This is to make it.
This is not to win the national championship. This is just to make the 12-team playoff. So, do you think in a Big 12 that here's their schedule, right? Again, I'm not selling you. I'm not saying this is gonna. I mean, it is a long shot, right? I mean,
and it's very public. Like that's the
no
other
doubt.
part about this. It's very public.
They play North Dakota State, the Bison.
Yeah,
but again,
not what they were.
Even still, even if you lose the game, doesn't matter.
Right.
You're not getting as in that large. I'm saying, can you win the Big 12? You're at Nebraska again. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's a Big 10 game. It's a non-conference game. You play Colorado State on the road. Doesn't matter. Here's your conference games. Home against Baylor, who stinks.
You can win that.
At Central Florida.
Tough place to play, long road trip, but it'll be a close one.
Home against Kansas State.
I mean, that's going to be the one that decides it, right?
At Arizona, no Jed Fish. Remember, he's now the coach of Washington.
Yeah.
What is Arizona with a new coach? Don't know.
Yep.
Home against Cincinnati.
There it is, yeah. And they stink.
At Texas Tech.
Not good. Not a good team, I mean, yeah.
Home against Utah. You get K-State and Utah at home.
You get your toughest 2 games at home. That is intriguing.
Then you're at Kansas.
You split, you're in the Big 12 championship, most likely.
You're at Kansas, home against Oklahoma State. I'm just saying.
Kansas is such a wild card in that league, man, this year.
Jalen Daniels is back. Got Lance Leipold. Like I've said before, Kansas could be in the freaking playoff.
They are a wild card.
Wouldn't surprise
in that
me if
league.
Kansas wins that bad league.
What were their odds to win the Big 12? Did you have that?
I don't.
Well.
You can look it up in the break. Anyway, all I'm saying is, I get it. I get all this. But at plus 2,000, can you get yourself into the Big 12 championship game and win it in that league? Worth a flyer. It ain't crazy. I mean, we've taken longer shots before.
Yeah.
All right, Jardin Gilbert's in studio with us next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. I tell you what, if you have trouble with your AC, if it's not blowing cold, if it's not keeping up, or if the thing just went kaput, you need to call River City's 1 Hour Air. They're the best. Don't believe me? No worries. Go read the thousands, literally thousands of 5-star Google reviews from River City's 1 Hour Air and see why so many of your friends and neighbors trust River City's 1 Hour Air the same way that I do. This is one from Michael Dodd, who said Kevin, his technician, was fantastic. He clearly explained everything to me, performed the service quickly. I'll be staying cool this summer. Another 5-star Google review, one of literally thousands. Go read them for yourself or just take my word for it. And if you have an issue with your AC, call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here on this Thursday edition of AFR. About a week ago or so, we talked about impact transfers at LSU, and I told you that, in my opinion, the guy who is going to be pretty critical to LSU, I think, is a guy sitting to my left right now in Jardin, Gilbert, who transfers back home after spending some time there in College Station with the Aggies, now in LSU. Tiger Jardin Gilbert joins us. How are you, man?
I'm good, bro. Glad to be home.
I asked you that when you came in. It says it feel good to be home, and you're like, "What is it?" So what's it been like being back?
Just being around my family, for one, is something that I didn't think that plays a big part into your mental. So being around my mom, my little brother, my dad, the rest of my family, it helps me.
Yeah. So you're from Baton Rouge and went to U High.
I'm originally from White Castle, Louisiana.
Okay, from hey man, respect to White Castle. So White Castle, and then you played at U High. So just opportunity to go to U High brought you over there. Really good football program, great school.
Most definitely. U High definitely the best high school in the state.
Except for Catholic, which is the best high school in the country. No. I mean, you can shake your head all you want, but I can walk you over there and you can look at all the trophies we got, the banners we hang. Just won a national championship in baseball. I mean, whatever.
Nah, they run up. They second.
My guy, I can respect you standing firm, but I have data that will disagree with you. This is fun. I even told Michael Bonnet we would have a little fun with that. Go back to whenever when you were coming out of high school and you picked Texas A&M. Remind us what that recruiting process was like and what led you to pick A&M coming out of high school.
For starters, as we know, the epidemic COVID-19 happened around 2020, 2021. So me being able to take visits, I couldn't because all the schools were shut down and I wasn't able to go and see the campus for myself. So I did a lot of virtual tours and had to stick to communication and trying to feel coaches out instead of like meeting them face to face. A lot of FaceTime. So recruiting, picking a school was kind of difficult. Trying to understand like how the system gonna be played and who gonna be coaching you and what teammates you gonna be around. So all of that was kind of difficult. So what A&M was selling to me is that I wanted to be the first there to win a national championship. That haven't been done. Coach Jimbo's from here. Well, not from here. He coached here, so he was familiar with the area, and yeah.
Yeah. And so, so in your senior year in high school was the COVID year.
Correct.
Yeah. So, you know what's interesting too, Jardin? I think I have this conversation all the time here on the show, and so the audience is used to me talking about this, but I'm a very, 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 as far pro transfer portal NIL as you can get. Like, a lot of people see benefits. I'm like, give everything to the players. Like, and I get it, I'm an extremist, and not everybody feels that same way, but I'm like, if there's money to make it. If you want to transfer 4 times your career, transfer. And I was telling you this off air, I transferred. And I made a choice to go to college, my friend. And I wasn't an athlete, but as an 18-year-old, I made a decision I thought was best for me. After a year, realized this wasn't best for me. And so I had the option to leave. So I'm always for that for student athletes as well. Why should you be any different? So you've had this experience now where you went to A&M and you were there, for 3 years, and you have the opportunity to come home because of the transfer portal. Like, do you look at the portal as a resource, as a benefit, like because you had that option to you?
Me personally, I can only speak for me.
Yeah.
It definitely helped me. It was being in a situation that, for one, if you mentally checked out of a school or an area that you are in it, and you want to leave and you can't, that'll mess you up mentally. So being able to transfer and making the best decision for me, being able to put myself in a higher opportunity to succeed at my goals, the transfer portal is a pro.
Yeah, I mean and I understand the other point of view where people say you get tuition and room and board and they spend all these resources recruiting you, but the opposite's also true. Like if a coach wanted to, back like a better word, purge a player off a roster or something like that, or not renew your scholarship, it's got to work both ways. The player should be able to leave too.
I agree.
Yeah. So when you went into the portal, what other opportunities were there for you? Like, did you get a lot of contact?
Yeah, I got some more SEC schools. I got some Pac-12 schools. I got Big Ten. Just about every conference.
Yeah. Was the decision? What was the decision like for you? Like, was it an easy decision to come back home?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
When I got in the portal, and I told myself if LSU reached out, I'm going home. That's where I wanted to be from the start. It's the decision that I should have been made out of high school, and God blessed me with the opportunity to make the decision again.
But also when you were coming out of high school, that was at a time where LSU was in a transition, going through a coaching change as well. Did that weigh into anything as well?
Most definitely. I got word that Coach O was getting fired, getting released, and I didn't know who was going to be coaching me. That's the coaching staff who recruited me. So not knowing who was going to come in, who was going to coach, Coach C. Ray left. I was just like, yeah.
So Corey, and then at the time, Bill Bush was also coaching.
Correct.
I think at the time, Bill Bush was still coaching safeties. Yeah. So, but now Corey's back. How much? So then, we'll talk about this coming season, the spring, and all that in the next segment because we got you for a little bit. But this process is interesting to me. So, whenever you decide to go in the portal, had Corey already been rehired at LSU?
Nah.
Okay, so you picked LSU even not knowing that Corey was back.
Most definitely.
Okay, so who reached out to you first when you went in the portal?
It was Coach Frank and Sherman Wilson.
Okay, what were those conversations like with Coach Frank and with Sherm?
So like I said, I made it easy. I knew this is where I wanted to be. I wanted to be a Tiger from the jump. So just them giving me the opportunity to come back home and play in front of the people that I love, it was easy conversation.
Yeah,
that's where I wanted to be.
Jardin Gilbert's in studio with us, LSU transfer safety. What was it like playing against LSU as an Aggie?
Oh, that was my championship game. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to play last year due to injury, but 2022, I told the whole locker room that we're not losing this game. not losing this game. If I lost that game, I wouldn't be able to go home. So we ended up winning 2022.
Yeah, I remember that game. It was not a great moment for Tiger fans. They, of course, already won the SEC West. We're going to Atlanta and drop that game at Kyle Field. So you make the decision to come back to Baton Rouge. How has the transition, new coaching staff, new teammates, all this stuff, how has that gone so far?
Me personally, I love it. What's the difference between here and there is the mentality that this place holds. Without coaching, without anybody else, without play, it's just what has been done here. So walking into the building, it make you walk with your chest out, your chin up. So being able to come here and be a part of this and possibly set a legacy, it's a dream come true.
Yeah. What can you elaborate a little more on sort of the difference? And I'm not asking you to talk bad about A&M.
No,
I mean, they gave you gave you a great opportunity and you played great there. But just I think it's important for like the fan listening, because most people, you understand this, like most people listening to us or watching us, they're never going to walk into football ops, right? They're never going to have the opportunity to walk into the locker room at Tiger Stadium, walk through the goalposts, and certainly not from a player's perspective. So help us illustrate the difference a little bit more. Like, what was it like being at A&M as opposed to here?
For starters, like you said, I won't talk about bad about A&M. They gave me an opportunity to be able to showcase my talent. So, for starters, what I've seen so far is that Louisiana, I could be biased, but Louisiana football players just have a different mentality. That's just the biggest difference from A&M and LSU. A&M has more, we're going to be honest, A&M have more resources than us. They have the facilities. They have everything. But what separates Louisiana and LSU from any other school, not just A&M, the mentality that we have.
Yeah. I say all the time, I've said for years, I think the biggest recruiting advantage LSU has, I say it is the dirt. It's the state. Sure. Because you have guys who just grow up here wanting to play at LSU. And so whenever you're able to get these super talented, and there's no other Power 5 in the state, right? So it's the only game if you're able to get the guys to stay home. Jardin Gilbert's in studio with us. So I want to talk a little bit about in the next segment about how spring went. We'll talk about the season. But what has been like the best part about being home? I mean, I know being close to your family, but like elaborate a little more on like what's it been like, the best part being home since you've been home this spring?
I'll probably have to say just being on the team with a couple players that I played against in high school that we've kept in touch, just seeing them doing good in high school, and we all just come together and play football. So I'll say probably that, just being able just to know almost everybody on the roster or have a relationship that goes beyond football on the roster, whereas A&M, I ain't know anybody.
Yeah, left home.
Right.
So who are some of your closest friends that on the roster, guys you played against?
I played Major at Madison Prep. I played, who else I played? I played with Austin. Austin is on the he's a safety.
He transferred in from Auburn.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just the whole the defense is family, so we all close.
Yeah, he played with and against a lot of those guys, no doubt. Jardin Gilbert's in studio with us. LSU safety transferred in this year from Texas A&M for his fourth year of school. When we come back, went through spring ball, obviously feeling good off the injury. We'll get an update on that and talk about what it's been like playing for Coach Raymond, playing for Coach Olson, Coach Baker, what they're looking like for the fall ahead as the Tigers move through this summer. We'll continue. Another segment here with Jardin Gilbert on AFR.
AFR.
Man, when it's 100 degrees outside and you're sitting out back and the sun is just baking on you and you think, man, wouldn't it be awesome to have a pool? Well, Duplessis Builders can make that happen. And if you're looking to build a big, beautiful pool, there's a lot of pool builders that do beautiful work. But if you want the best craftsmanship, you want Duplessis Builders. DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. That's the website, DuplessisBuilders.net. Derek Duplessis has an engineering background, which I've told you about, and he will not cut corners. So when you have this conversation, you're going to understand what you're dealing with here is a premium product. This isn't a spec pool. This isn't we're going to knock this out in a couple weeks or a month. No. It takes 21 days for gunite to cure. They're not going to touch it until gunite is cured and move on to the tiling and the coping. So expect a 2-month process, but you will be thrilled. And it always comes with a 10-year workmanship warranty. DuplessisBuilders.net.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
All right, Jardin Gilbert hanging out with us in studio. LSU safety. Man, I don't know if you heard, but LSU's defense last year didn't have the best year. I was being a little tongue-in-cheek there. They were pretty bad last year. And they needed an overhaul. I know you're a big part of that, but so are the coaches that came in. So I'd love to talk a little bit about how spring went. What were your impressions going through spring ball with Corey, but also with Jake Olson there, the safeties coach?
Well, the coaches did a good job of setting a standard that we abide by every day, every and each day. With Coach Olson, with Coach Blake, with Coach Corey, they are making it known that we weren't the best last year. So whatever we do, whether it's practice, off the field, homework, meetings, that we're gonna take a different approach and a different mindset to it.
How is it? One of the things that we, like media fans, talk a lot about is when there's coaching changes or a new coordinator or something, there's always like a transition because you have to learn all these different defenses, terminology, whatever. Like for you, having been at a different school, having a couple different DCs, and now coming to LSU and it's Blake Baker's defense, is that a challenge, like learning new terminology or new schemes? Like, is that a real thing?
It just depends on who you are. Like me personally, I take a different approach to it. I think that is what separates me. everything is kind of the same. It's just different words to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
So how easy was it, or was it easy for you this spring to pick up on everything?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. Obviously learning new things. Every coach is different, so they're gonna add their own spice to it. So that spice is what challenged me to make sure that I perfect it.
So give me an example of what would be something different that they asked you to do at A&M than what you had to do this spring at LSU. Like, what's an example?
For starters, at A&M, I was mainly in the post. Now I'm kind of strong safety and playing more in the box.
Okay. So it means so when you say in the post, you're talking about being free. You're like the last line of defense.
Correct.
Right. So now they're letting you play a little closer to the line. Do you like doing that?
Yeah, most definitely.
Why?
I like being able to, because I like hitting. I like to tackle. I like to be involved in whatever the offense scheme is.
When one of the things that I was talking about last week, we were talking about you because there was a piece up, I think, at ESPN about impact transfers, and they mentioned you, and I agreed with it. And I went back and I looked at Blake Baker's defense the last 2 years at Missouri when he was the DC there. And each year, the two leading tacklers on his defense, both years, were safeties. And so, I didn't watch every game Missouri played, but it stands to reason, okay, he's going to feature safeties and get them involved. Like, what does the defense do to help involve? Why is the safety position so important in Blake Baker's defense? Is probably the way to ask it.
Oh, because we have to be the quarterback of the defense. He consistently says that. Like, we have to understand the call, why we're calling it, and we have to be able to put everybody in line to be able to perfect and to complete the scheme of whatever he's trying to run.
A lot of times, is that the job of a linebacker, or do safeties normally do that?
It's to make the call. The linebackers, it depends on who's the coach of the defense.
Yeah. So sometimes, it could vary. So essentially, to say for Blake Baker, it's a big deal. Like the safety spot's a big deal. So is it odd because he's a linebacker coach, right? Like he's a linebacker coach, you would think he would feature and focus on linebackers, but clearly safety is such an important position in this defense.
Nah, I'll say it's both. He put a lot of pressure on the linebackers as well to make sure that everybody's straight, make sure the front is called right, and also the safeties do the same.
Who was going through spring, and obviously, it's just a few weeks worth of practices, but who are some guys on that defense, you being a veteran player, who are some guys, maybe young guys, that stood out to you that you thought did really well?
Oh, definitely P.J. Washington.
Yeah.
And Ashton Stamp. Yeah.
So Woodland from the freshman from...
Oh, Woodland, yeah, P.J. Woodland.
From a freshman from New Orleans. Or is he from Mississippi?
No,
Woodland's from Mississippi. There's two freshmen. Woodland's from Mississippi. And then Stamps. What was so impressive about PJ?
I'll probably have to say, first off, what I recently just said, I like his mindset. Him being, so if he get a ball caught on him, he ready for the next play. It's not any pouting or anything to set him back from the next play. And also, he's a competitor. He want to go against the best of the best. He want to go against Karn. He want to go against Chris. He want to go against the best of the best.
Yeah. What about Sage Ryan? As long as he's been here, he's moved around a bunch. He was a nickel. He was playing boundary corner last year. It looks like now, from what little we got to see of spring, they were playing him back there at safety. How did that go with playing and lining up there with the ones with Sage?
Yeah, as we know, Sage was one of the best recruits out of high school.
Did you play against him?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
He lucky though.
I love it. That's so good.
We joke about that all the time.
Yeah.
Sage being back there, he's a ball player, and you see that every practice.
Yeah. Offensively, what's it like trying to guard those receivers?
They iron sharpen iron. That's what I can say.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Kyron was awesome this spring. Everything that they let us see, he was just like, a lot of people ask us, you go do interviews on other stations, like how you going to replace 2 first-round draft picks. I'm like, I don't know, man. If you saw number 2 in the spring, he looks like he's pretty ready. Who else among the receivers really do you think stood out in the spring?
Just about all of them, but for sure, Chris Hilton.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Chris's speed's awesome.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. What about the transfers that came in?
And CJ. CJ Dillon definitely took and made it known that he's ready to play.
Tell us a little bit about CJ and about Xavion Thomas as well. Because those are both guys transferring in who we haven't gotten to see. What? Tell us a little bit about their games.
Day one, they were ready to compete. They were ready to be able to. They were ready to compete for the starting spot. So they came catching jugs day in, day out.
What about Garrett at quarterback? What stood out about him getting to watch him work this spring?
His confidence. Him knowing that he got some big shoes to fill, and he's stepping up to the plate.
Yeah.
Each and every day.
What would you say was most impressive aside from the conference, like physically, with Garrett's game? That sometimes like you'd see him make a throw or something, you look and go, oh man. Like what part of his game do you think is most impressive?
He's smart. So he's smart. He understands the different schemes that the defense be in. So to be able to make a pass whenever it needs to be in the right spot, that as a vet playing in the SEC, like that's what you need to be able to win games.
Yeah. What do you think it'll feel like getting to run through the tunnel at Tiger Stadium in a now you did it in spring, but in practice, what do you think it's gonna be like?
I can't even wait. I don't even think I'm gonna have words to describe it.
So first game at home will be Nichols. The first SEC game at home will be Ole Miss. Did I miss it? Am I missing one? It's gonna be Ole Miss so it's Nichols, then at South Carolina, then home against UCLA. Then who am I missing?
It is Ole Miss.
Yeah, the first SEC home game is Ole Miss. Yeah. So, well, that's gonna be a big game, man.
Most definitely.
Which game do you have circled the most that you're like you can't wait for it?
October 26th.
A&M.
A&M.
So it's got 1 minute. So it's to go against your former, not to play Bama in Tiger Stadium, a big game against Ole Miss. It's your former team.
Most definitely.
Are you going to say this year what you told your guys in 2022, like there's no way we're losing this game?
So that's the difference between here and there. I don't have to tell my teammates that. They already know.
They know. It's a pleasure to have you in studio, man. Welcome back home. I know there's a lot of people excited to watch you play in the purple and gold this fall, man. We'll keep in touch, and we appreciate you for coming in here today, man.
No, thank you.
That's our pleasure. Jardin Gilbert, LSU safety, will be playing his fourth season of college football back stone's throw from where he prepped over at U High, the second greatest high school in Baton Rouge. Got him. All right, it's after further review. We're going to knock out a quick break. We're going to come back. SportsCenter gets caught up on national headlines. LSU did get a big commitment today. And also, Phil Steele's All-America team is out. We'll talk about it. Stick around with us here. Hour number 3 of AFR is next.
AFR.
Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, South Point Volkswagen and southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge online. Remember, if you're listening in Lafayette or Southwest Louisiana, they've got Southwest Volkswagen as well there in Lafayette. Same great family, but South Point Airline Highway in Baton Rouge, just south of Highland, right there. Just north of Highland on Airline. It's South Point Volkswagen. Hey, look, they have the trade-in and trade-up event going on right now. So if you're thinking of buying a new vehicle, South Point has got to replenish their used vehicle inventory. So they're making deals and giving you top dollar for your trade-in. So you want to drive off the lot in that brand new Volkswagen? South Point Volkswagen has awesome deals like 2.9% APR for 60 months on 2024 Jetta. Check it out right now at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or online at southpointvw.com. Again, that's southpointvw.com for South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
When things heat up, you don't just want a cold one. You want the coldest one. The cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged one. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Lakers will sign J.J. Redick as the team's new head coach on a 4-year deal.
4 years for someone who hasn't been a head coach yet, or certainly even an assistant coach in the league. You know, that's about on course of what you would see. It's a negotiation.
Adrian Wojnarowski on NBA Today. The Lakers earlier offered a 6-year deal to UConn coach Dan Hurley. Woj also reporting today the Thunder will get guard Alex Caruso. In a trade from the Bulls, Chicago gets guard Josh Giddey. 6 months from now, Caruso will be eligible for a 4-year, $80 million contract extension. The Broncos hire former Stanford head coach David Shaw as a senior personnel executive. Shaw spent years in the NFL as an assistant coach before taking the Stanford job. He and Denver coach Sean Payton worked together on the Eagles staff. Baseball today, the Dodgers beat the Rockies 5-3. Shohei Ohtani hits his 21st home run. The Astros beat the White Sox 5-3 in Chicago.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Commercial Insurance. It flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Jimmy Ott later this hour for Otter Locks. Michelle Southern's going to jump in studio with us. You've heard us talking for a couple of weeks now about the big Battle of the Bands tomorrow over at the Texas Club. Doors at 7. Show starts at 8. 5 bands. Each have a half an hour set. And the winner of the Battle of the Bands gets to open for Kenny Wayne Shepherd at his show at the River Center coming up in July. So it's going to be a great event. Coming out and joining us at the Texas Club tomorrow if you can. I'll be there. And Michelle, of course, is spearheading the whole thing on Eagle 98.1. So she'll be in here in just a little bit. Thanks to Jardin Gilbert, who was here. Spent 2 segments with us. Talked about his Initially, his decision to leave home and commit to A&M, and then why he ultimately left A&M, came to Baton Rouge, what spring was like, working with new coaches, guys that impressed him. You know what was interesting? I don't know if this stood out to you too, but when I asked him, I love asking this question. When you ask guys who are guys on the team or veteran guys, who's a guy that we may not know that's impressing that we're going to know his name? And the reason is because they see more than we do. They're at practice every day. They're the ones like putting on the pads, hitting, defending, all that sort of stuff. And so a lot of times they'll give you really good answers. And I remember, this is the reason I always remember this. LSU used to do football media day, where it was a one day only. It was in conjunction with when they did fan day, and so they had football media day, and for 1 hour, every player was at the indoor facility. They were sitting by position groups in chairs, and for 1 hour, you can go interview anybody. Talk to freshmen, quarterbacks, whoever, and Les never let freshmen or anybody really talk to the media. He was just very paranoid. I always say he's the most paranoid coach that I ever covered. And I remember one year, this would have been 2010, had to be. And I asked a handful of defensive players that very question. Who's the one guy that, like, when you see him play, you go, man, who's that guy? Like, guy's incredible. Nobody knows his name yet, but everybody will. And every player that I asked that question to said Kevin Minter. And at that point, Kevin was a freshman, or I guess he'd been a redshirt freshman at that point in 2010, and didn't really burst until his sophomore year in 2011. And then in 2012, he was the best linebacker in college football. Manti Te'o won the Butkus because of his fake dead girlfriend and all that stuff. Te'o had a great year. Minter was a better linebacker, had a longer pro career, was just a better player than Manti Te'o, had a better season. But Te'o had all the, all the hullabaloo around him, and Notre Dame had an undefeated season or whatever. But it was interesting because all the guys saw it. They saw it every day at practice. He just had to wait his turn. And when guys like Kelvin Shepard and Perry Riley were done, he was next, and he was awesome. He was just had to wait his turn. So it's interesting when you keep asking guys. So I asked Jardin Gilbert that question, same question. And without hesitation, first name out of his mouth was P.J. Woodland. And when you keep having guys the same answer over and over and over again, it's very telling. So I don't know if P.J. Woodland's going to be ready to play as a true freshman. Maybe he will, and maybe he'll be awesome. Or maybe it's going to take him a year. Don't know. But in any event, when you keep getting that answer, it's pretty telling. So another one to follow. But Jardin Gilbert, another thing, man. So look, he was playing free safety at A&M. He's playing strong now. Blake Baker has him near the line of scrimmage. He loves the physicality, to be able to make tackles. I mean, there's a lot to like about what he said. Working with Coach Olson, working with Corey Raymond as well. So LSU on their way to improving that defense. And it's going to take guys like that. So I appreciate Jardin Gilbert for coming in here with us. All right. It's after further review. Phil Steele put out his preseason All-America team today. And a couple of things stood out. And y'all know Phil has been a great friend of the show. I don't know how long it's been, 5-7 years, something like that Phil's come on every Friday during the college football season to preview the biggest games. We love those chats with Phil Steele. I mean, the Phil Steele College Football Preview magazine is just part of the fabric of college football. I mean, it is like the Bible of college football. And so I love Phil's perspective. But when Phil does his preseason All-America teams, the thing that's unique, and I mean that in the literal sense, is that he does 4 units, a first, second, third, and fourth team. He does 4 preseason All-America teams. And so typically, you have a lot of representation because you got 4 teams, first, offense, defense, special teams, first, second, third, fourth unit. And I got a little bone to pick with Phil. I got to get Phil on the show here. We'll do a preview segment for the season, or maybe an hour with Phil, at some point here during the summer. But he had 2 LSU guys, both on the first team, and I think we all know who it is. It's Will Campbell and Harold Perkins, both first-team All-American. And that was it. 2 players, that's it. No other LSU player was on any of Phil Steele's preseason All-America teams. Emory Jones not being there is a total snub. Guy's going to be a first-round draft pick. You can't tell me he's not one of the 8 best offensive tackles in college football. Emory Jones should be on there somewhere, even if it's the 4th team. And I would say, look, if you want to add someone to an All-American and All-Conference team, you got to take someone away. So if you don't know who that person is, then if you can't definitively say he's better than that person, then it's hard to make that argument. I'm telling you, if Campbell and Jones had both been first-team All-Americans, I'd have been fine with that. They're both going to be first-round draft picks, and both are certainly deserving. The other one that I was surprised was left off was Kyron Lacey, and maybe it's just that he doesn't have enough skins on the wall because he just has been buried in a logjam behind a lot of really talented guys. But I still think Kyron Lacey, and by the way, he had 3 receivers on each team, so 12 receivers in all received honor or received mention. And it's going to be hard. You'd be hard-pressed to convince me Kyron Lacey isn't at the end of the season one of the 12 best receivers in college football, but we'll see how that all plays out. Couple of other things that stood out here on Phil Steele's preseason All-America team. First team quarterback was Carson Beck from Georgia. That surprised me, first and foremost, that Carson Beck was the first team quarterback. I would have thought Quinn Ewers would be as close to a unanimous first team All-American as you could find, but Beck is the guy who got the nod from Phil Steele. All 4 quarterbacks where he had him slotted surprised me. Carson Beck 1, Jalen Milroe 2, Dylan Gabriel, who's now at Oregon 3, and then Quinn Ewers 4. I would have thought Quinn Ewers would have been 1, and I'm floored that Jalen Milroe is there as a second-team All-American. Y'all, I may be dead wrong about this. I mean, it's 5:10 Central Time on Thursday, June the 20th, and we may look back at the end of the season and you may laugh your T-Heinies off at me because I may miss this horribly. And listen, there have been times in my career where I've nailed things, and there have been times where you swing and miss horribly. I mean, yeah, some of y'all still don't let me live down that I picked Notre Dame to beat Alabama in the championship game in 2012. I missed. Sometimes your opinions are good, sometimes they're not. And I may miss horribly on this. But I do not get the Jalen Milroe affection. Jalen Milroe is a magnificent athlete. He beat LSU running the football last year. He's awesome at it. But he stinks at throwing the ball. I know he threw for 2,800 yards last year, but a lot of that was stretching the field with elite receivers where you put it in their vicinity. Look at Jalen Milroe's game log against the best teams they played last year, and it ain't great. By the way, the national semifinal against Michigan, 16 of 23 for 116. Dude threw for 116 yards against Michigan in the Rose Bowl in the national semifinal. I mean, his QBR was 48. Yeah, there are some really nice days, like 234 yards and 3 scores against Kentucky. Well, what did you do when you faced the best teams on your schedule? It wasn't that great. So, the Georgia game in the SEC championship, 13 of 23 for 192. Okay. Nice day. Not a fantastic day. I just don't know how you could convince me that he's the second best quarterback in college football. Again, I may be dead wrong on this. Jalen Milroe may go out there and be sensational, but that's also a guy who was, 13 of 18 for $194 against Middle Tennessee and got benched against South Florida. Maybe I'll be dead wrong. I just don't see it. The other 2 teams I was really interested in looking at Phil Steele's preseason All-America team, Bama and Ole Miss, their total representation, because after Georgia and Texas, those are kind of the teams that people are looking at. Ole Miss only had 3 total players. Trey Harris was a second-teamer, the wide receiver. Cade Prieskorn, the tight end, was a third-teamer, and Walter Nolan was a third-teamer. That's it. So maybe, just maybe, the deep level of talent we're all expecting at Ole Miss isn't what we thought. And then I thought the same for Bama. After Milroe, Dante Lawson was a second-team linebacker, Malachi Moore, a 4th-team safety. I mean, you didn't exactly have this deep or high-level talent. When Nick Saban's teams were looked at in preseason All-America list, you'd see them littered all over the place. Not so much this year. But there's a lot of Georgia. There's a lot of Ohio State. Not so much Bama. A lot of Texas. Not so much Bama. We'll see. It's about that time. The preseason magazines, the predictions, all the preseason All-America lists, all that stuff. We're getting into watch list season as well, where all the awards are going to start putting out their watch list. That's about that time of year where this starts to happen. So there'll be more and more conversation where people make bold predictions about what they think will or won't happen in the 2024 college football season, but we're getting closer to it. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're here. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. Get to firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, your first option for agriculture, your first option for land for that recreational property, your first option for land if you're trying to buy that land to build your dream home. Your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. So go to firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Fired up to tell you about the patronage refund this year. First South Farm Credit paid $25.5 million back to their borrowers. Effectively, that reduces your cost of borrowing. And every year for the last 30 years, First South Farm Credit has offered a patronage refund where they write a check to their borrowers. They share the profits as a cooperative with their borrowers. So it effectively reduces your cost of borrowing. It's First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. All right, y'all. Been a really good show. We're glad you're with us. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much. Please smash the like button. Thanks to all of our friends watching on WBTR as well. If you're in New Orleans, Alexandria, Lafayette, Lake Charles, or anywhere, we appreciate you for being a part of the show. You can email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Quick break. When we come back, LSU did land a big commitment today in Carius Curne, big number one interior offensive lineman in the country. We'll reset that for you as well. We'll get to Michelle Southern in about 15 minutes. We're glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Was scrolling my Facebook feed this morning, and a Rouse's post popped up. And it wasn't an ad, but it is part of their weekly ad over at Rouse's. And it's this crazy 88-cent sale that they have going on. It's literally called the Crazy 88-Cent Sale, where all of these things they're selling for 88 cents. 28-ounce bottle of Powerade, 88 cents. A tuna, half-ounce pouch of Starkist tuna, 88 cents. A 17-ounce bottle of sparkling ice, 88 cents. The Kellogg's cereal cups, 88 cents. A Rouse's brand nuts, the bags of Rouse's brand nuts, 88 cents. You get the point. If you want to go shop and save a ton, it's a great time to get by Rouse's. Any of the nearly 70 Rouse's locations, from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, and points in between. They're awesome. You need to make groceries. You need to do it affordably. You need Rouse's. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we, as farmers, strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the mic icon to send us your thoughts in audio form. Your message could be played on air during Off the Bench, the Hunt Palmer Show, and after further review. Speak up, tell us your location, and be heard. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store for direct links. Visit 1045ESPN.com.
Oh, the Bammers are after me. Oh, they're coming after me, Muse. I'm going to tell you what.
It's been a few days. They haven't chilled out.
So the QB, the quarterback that Alabama flipped from SMU. They flipped from SMU.
The Ponies.
Yeah, so he goes to Keelan Russell, goes to the Elite 11, and he was named the MVP of Elite 11. So all of these Bama fans now are flooding my mentions. Who's laughing now? But like all this stuff. Because the quarterback went to a, as Mike Detillier would say, a pajama and slippers event and threw against air. Do you know who the MVP of Elite 11 was in 2021?
No.
It was Cade Klubnik. How's that going so far?
Not great.
Yeah. The MVP of Elite 11 in 2022 was Jackson Arnold. Oh, there's a lot of people at Oklahoma that are going to tell you, oh, he's going to be awesome.
The future.
They're excited. Ain't seen nothing yet. Now, last year's MVP, you know who last year's MVP was?
Who was last year's MVP?
Julian Sayin.
Oh.
You know the guy who was committed to Alabama and left for the we didn't sign anybody guy.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, that guy.
He's at Ohio State now.
Yeah, he's at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Now, Caleb Williams did win the MVP in 2020. So one out of every 5 or so might pop.
That went well.
Feels pretty good. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay. Let's see how that might go. I am so oh, by the way, back in 2018, you know who the MVP was in 2018?
I don't.
Spencer Rattler.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The guy that was going to be the number 1 pick and then lost his job to Caleb Williams,
who
then went
also,
to South Carolina. Was a pretty good player at South Carolina. Now we hope is going to be awesome with the Saints.
It's true. We hope that.
I guess my point is, Bammers, if you're flexing on me because the guy you flipped from SMU went to the Elite 11 and won the MVP, there's a whole lot more Spencer Rattlers, Cade Klubniks, and the like, Drew Alars, than there are Tuas and CJ Strouds, okay? But time will tell. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be awesome, right? I'm sure he's going to be awesome because lots of quarterbacks sign with the team that they're or go to the team they signed with and stay there for 4 years and they're awesome. Happens all the time, right? Like Caleb Williams didn't leave Oklahoma high and dry, did he?
Never did.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen, right?
He didn't do that.
Oh, back in 2015. You know who the MVP was back in 2015, Muse?
I don't.
How about well, I don't expect you to know anything.
As I say, I don't remember that.
Shea Patterson.
I remember him.
Yeah. How about 2014?
He transferred too, by the way.
2014. It was a Bama commit. Won it back in 2014 as well.
Jacob Coker.
Blake Barnett. Coker went Florida State.
That's right. He transferred.
Yeah. Blake Barnett, who went Bama, Arizona State, then South Florida.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I feel we probably should be doing Bama is burning right now, but I feel a really solid, the MVP in 2013 was Shaun White. I don't even know who.
Snowboarder?
No. Is that the carrot top looking guy? His name's Shaun White?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Shaun White? Okay.
Yeah.
No, this Shaun White went to Auburn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that guy at all, actually.
I'm just having a lot of fun with this. This is going to be really
LSU had one year, didn't they?
Who was this guy? 2012, Asante Woolard?
That's not a real person.
That's a real person?
No offense to him, but he's not a real person.
From Winter Park, Florida.
No.
Who else was in this class?
That guy never.
Jared Goff was in that class.
Wow.
Well, how about this?
They missed the boat on that one at the Elite 11, didn't they?
How about this Elite 11 class? Max Brown, Shane Cockerell, Luke Del Rio, Josh Dobbs, Zach Greenlee, Jared Goff, Christian Hackenberg, Kevin Olson, Johnny Stanton, Asante Woolard, and Malik Zaire.
I think I knew 5 of those guys.
The Elite 11. You mean recruiting isn't an exact science?
I've heard that.
Wow. The year before, Neil Burcham.
What?
Was the MVP of the Elite 11.
That's not a real person. Where did Neil Burcham go to college?
SMU.
No, he didn't. Please. Oh, my God.
I swear to God. I swear to God.
Live radio, folks.
Oh, wait. There were co-MVPs. Hold on.
What a cop-out.
This is, wait. Neil Burcham, Tanner Mangum.
Neil Burcham.
Tanner Mangum, and Jameis Winston.
No.
Which one doesn't belong, right? Oh, the guy that actually went on to win a Natty, a Heisman, be the #1 overall pick. Oh, my God. Neil Burcham and Jameis attached at the hip. I could do this all day long. All this does, I got to go get on Twitter. Jeff Driscoll was the Elite 11 MVP back in 2010.
Great career with the Florida Gators. Just fantastic.
No.
One of their best quarterbacks of all time, they'll tell you, in Gainesville.
How about this one? Jake Heaps was the MVP in 2009.
Another imaginary person.
No, he's a real guy. He exists IRL. There's a picture of him. He's got to be real.
AI.
AI didn't exist in 2009.
I can go back and fudge those
Aaron
records.
Murray.
That worked out well.
How about Aaron Murray back in 08?
He was good.
Yeah.
Didn't stink. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to do this post. Blaine Gabbert.
Wow.
Oh, man, I cannot wait to go back. It's just like, this is good.
I'd give that one a hit,
I'm
though. That worked out
workshopping this
well.
live on air because here's what I've come to realize. With all the Bama is burning stuff and the Alabama people that melt over all of it, none of them actually listen to the show.
No.
They only consume the short clips that we put out, the shorts, the reels, the whatever, or like the 3 or 4 minute thing we'll put on Twitter. That's all they see. So they don't hear any of the full context of anything I say. So none of them are listening to this right now. I don't think they're smart enough to figure out how to get to an online stream to get here, to listen to this right now. But I'm workshopping this live on air, knowing that they're never going to hear this because none of them are going to go find this segment and listen back to it. But to go list all of the complete and total duds that have been Elite 11 MVPs, there have been some good ones. Tua, Justin Fields, C.J. Stroud, there have been some good ones. But I just rattled off 15 years of Elite 11, and I think I knew 3 of the names, or 3 of the names that were ended up having really good careers. So
Neil Burcham. The same year as Jameis Winston.
Neil Burcham sounds like your accountant.
Yeah. You know what Neil Burcham sounds like? A guy who tells everybody he was co-Elite 11 MVP with Jameis Winston. That's what Neil Burcham sounds like.
Hey, back in 2013, your boy was the co-MVP of the Elite 11. Who'd you share that honor with? Jameis.
Might have heard of him.
For a day, your boy was a shining star. Old Neil Burcham. You know what they give you?
Neil Burcham. It's just a hilarious name. I'm sorry. I'm sure Neil Burcham, super nice guy.
Are we sure Neil Burcham's a nice
Probably
guy?
not, but the
you
man,
want
I
to
don't
Google him
know.
and it turns out like Neil Burcham's an axe murderer. Forgive me, Neil. I'm not saying you were. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Neil. It's just a joke. Nobody clip that and send it to Neil Burcham.
Oh.
See if Neil Burcham's on Twitter.
I'm sure there's a Neil Burcham on Twitter.
Let's find Neil Burcham on Twitter and see. Oh, there we Neil Burcham 12.
Is it N-E-I-L or N-E-A-L?
This has got to be him. It's a football guy. There's workout videos. This has got to be him. I think he's a coach now.
Here we go. Neil American football quarterback.
Do you want to tweet him and congratulate him on his Elite 11 co-MVP with Jameis back in 2012? Oh, man. That's after further review. Michelle Southern's in studio next. Big battle of the bands tomorrow. We're going to talk about it. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Think real estate. Think Darren James. I'm going to give you Darren's cell number. Call him. You call or text Darren right. If you're thinking about selling your home, you've been thinking about it on the fence, should I? If you don't actually believe that I'm giving you Darren James' cell number, text him right now and just be like, DJ Scone was talking about you. Just seeing if this is actually your cell phone number. And watch he'll reply. I guarantee you'll get a reply within a minute. 335-7666. 225-335-7666. 335-7666. Or call him right now. 335-7666 or agent225.com. Listen, the bottom line is if you need to sell your home, you need the absolute best. Why would you settle for anything less than the absolute best? And I'm so fired up for Darren James. Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1% of realtors in America, number 14 in the country. Need a realtor, you need Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
When things heat up, you don't just want a cold one. You want the coldest one. The cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged one. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
after further review with Matt Moscona.
I am a bit of an old soul when it comes to radio. I love the medium. I grew up in radio, and I understand we're in a digital era, and a lot of things grow and expand and evolve, and we've done that with. I mean, this studio is sort of a case in point of that. But Michelle Southern, who is the program director and afternoon drive host on Eagle 98.1, of course, the flagship of LSU, and essentially the greatest radio station in the state, and has been for 40 years or something like that. Did what is true to the core, one of the greatest radio promotions that I've ever seen, and it's such a throwback because you just don't see many like this anymore in this era. And Michelle's in studio with us. We've been talking about the Battle of the Bands coming up tomorrow over at the Texas Club. Thank you for coming in. How are you?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on AFR. I feel so privileged.
Stop. Okay. We've all heard the promos and everything, but give me the skinny of how this all came together.
So it was literally 3 weeks ago today that Kenny Wayne Shepherd's dad called the River Center. Kenny Wayne Shepherd's original opener, Jimmy Vaughn, was sadly diagnosed with cancer and had to cancel all of his summer tours. So they were scrambling at the last minute, and Kenny Wayne Shepherd's dad, who's a 40-year radio veteran in Louisiana, asked the River Center if they had a good relationship with a local radio station, and they were like, well, yeah. So we all jumped on a conference call with Kenny's dad, Live Nation, the River Center, me, and Kenny's manager, and to come up with something. And I just said, Battle of the Bands. And they were like, are you sure? The show is July 13th. And I was like, yeah, we've got a great partnership with the Texas Club, and if anybody can pull it off, it's Eagle 98.1.
Yeah.
And so the rest, as they say, is history. We opened up a 1-week nomination period for bands to sign up. The way that we kind of limited it to, I guess, bands that were more serious, trying to think of a good way to put that, is that we made a rule that you had to have at least 2 original songs. So we got 42 entries in 1 week from bands throughout the state. And
all Louisiana bands.
All Louisiana bands. From Shreveport, we had Lake Charles, Alexandria, New Orleans, Lafayette, and we narrowed it down to 5, and they are really, really good bands, and that's going to be who's performing tomorrow night.
So if you want to get more info on the bands, I know that y'all have done a really good job over on the Eagle 98.1 social media profiles highlighting each of the bands, but can you give us just like a little blurb about each?
So one of the bands is Tommy G and Stormy Weather. They're out of Morgan City. You can appreciate this. He has a huge social media following, and his top song, it's called You and Me Tonight, has 7.2 million views on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
And he has 15,000 followers. So the swamp pop, but he still has a singing bluesy guitar, so that was appropriate. Leif Mesh is out of Lafayette, Acadiana area. They're a 3-man band, and they have got, I'll let you listen to one of their songs. Kind of a Dave Matthews sound to me. We've also got Petty Betty, and they're from Baton Rouge. They were super excited. Gypsy LeBlue out of Elizabeth, Louisiana, population 410.
Where is that?
It is around Leesville, so it's in central.
Yeah.
They're a Senlaw band. And those are and Zizai. Zizai is a band that they actually won the Battle of the Bands at Fred's in 2022. So they're my young band, and they're performing last. We did a randomizer to choose the band order.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, we did the random.org, and I took a video screenshot of it and sent it to them so that they would know. I randomized it 9 times to determine the order. And it couldn't have worked out better because Tommy G is first and Zizai is last. So the young kids, they're encouraging them, and everybody's bringing out their whole crew. That was a big part of this. Was one of the metrics is crowd response. So we have a week to promote this. You've got to bring your tribe out so that we get a good crowd out at the Texas Club. And by all accounts, it's going to be packed tomorrow night.
So I know we've promoted, so tickets are $20, and there's tickets at the door, but people can buy tickets online at the Texas Club website right now?
That's correct. TheTexasClub.com. And then when you get there, you'll have your Ticketmaster number or whatever. So you can do it like that.
All right, so TheTexasClub.com is the website if you want to go buy tickets online. Do we think, does the Texas Club sell out? Like, is there a possibility that they could say, hey, no more people in here?
I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't think that this will be a sellout. I know that, Jimmy Brooks and the country stations, they sell out shows, but I don't think this will be a sellout, but I don't know. It could be.
Yeah, Paul, can you pull this up, please? So if you go, there it is for those watching. If you go to thetexasclub.com, it's literally the first thing there on the homepage. Which so it says 20 to 180. What's the 180?
I don't know if that's actually accurate anymore because the 180 is normally what they do at the Texas Club on the second floor balcony, and that's now reserved for all my bands.
Oh, I see. So look, that's a reserve table. It says there's a reserve table.
And you can reserve a table downstairs too.
Okay.
So that'll automatically do that. But you can still do that for the downstairs tables.
Okay, that's what that is then. Okay, awesome. So it's tomorrow, doors at 7, first band up at 8.
Tommy G.
Tommy G's first.
Is first, yes.
So Tommy G's first. So I'm one of the judges.
Yes.
Our 4 program directors here at Guarantee Media, you, me, Kate, and Jimmy are the judges. Michelle, I'm terrified that I or we or somebody we're going to screw this up.
It's going to be hard. It is going.
What do we do?
I don't know.
What's our criteria? Do we just pick?
Yeah, no. We base on 3 different metrics: musicality, performance, like stage performance, and audience reaction.
Okay.
And you're going to have that judge card in front of you, 1 through 10, and you circle 1 through 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst.
Man.
Then Daniel's going to tally it all up at the end of the night, and Mark is going to be the tiebreaker should we have a tie. But the way that I have it set up, it shouldn't be one. So
I'm so nervous.
I know
about
this isn't
that.
like a jambalaya competition.
Do you think that it going first is a disadvantage?
I do think that, except for the Tommy crowd, coming from Morgan City, they'll be there and they'll be, screaming their heads off for him. But I judged the Fred's Battle of the Bands this year, and the last band won. By that time, it's so late at night, everybody's good and liquored up, and, we're all just, even the judges are sitting there going, 10, 10, But
I'm really looking forward to it. It's especially to have pulled something of this size and scale together in 3 weeks is pretty amazing. And the payoff, for one of these bands to get to open for Kenny Wayne Shepherd at the River Center is massive. I don't know that these bands would otherwise have even the opportunity to do something like that.
They wouldn't, and they're so good, and it's so hard to be a musician and, just wait around to be discovered. But they're all so grateful for the opportunity. I wasn't sure if I was going to be dealing with prima donnas, not even close. Every band has been just, what time do you need us there? What do you need? How can we make your life easier? They're sharing drums. One drum is backlining. PSS has been in touch with all of them. It's going too smooth. So hopefully, hopefully everything tomorrow will be fine too.
That means it's the right thing to be doing. If something happens easily, that's how it should go when it's supposed to be. So,
yes.
All right, Battle of the Bands, Eagle 98.1, presented by Parish Construction and Roofing. Got to throw that out there. We're thrilled to be part of this as well. I know all us and our partners at Parish. It's just such a cool promotion. It's a great local tie as well, and somebody is going to get to open for Kenny Wayne Shepherd at the River Center.
That's what I've been saying. It's not going to end after tomorrow night. It's just going to get that much more exciting. And we haven't told any of them this yet, but, since it's just me and you talking right now, I can say it. The bands that don't win are still going to be invited to the show and a private party with Kenny ahead of the show on the 13th. So, we have a little something for everybody if they can't, obviously be the actual opener. But I have a present for you.
Oh,
nice. I know you love hats. I got you a Kenny Wayne Shepherd autograph hat from when he came in 2022.
I'm going to have to make it bigger for my head, though, Michelle.
Okay, maybe I should have adjusted that ahead of time.
Big ball. No, you kidding me?
Yeah, there we go.
How are we doing?
Good. It looks great.
At that, man. Look at that.
Yeah.
Kenny Wayne Shepherd, man. Just one of the greatest guitarists of his era. And, again, Kenny Wayne Shepherd's from Shreveport. So
right.
He's a Louisiana guy. I learned that his dad, only through this, that his dad is like a lifetime radio guy, which is so cool. Has he ever done anything like this? Do you know?
No. And when I interviewed him, he just said, back when he started, which he was so young, 25 years ago when the Trouble Is tour came out, and he said that's how bands got discovered was Battle of the Bands, the good old-fashioned way. And so he wanted to give a band like that an opportunity here in his home state. So I was just blown away, and I don't intend to let him or anyone else down for that matter.
What else do people need to know as we're here in the final minute or so?
Well, okay, so doors open at 7 o'clock. The show starts at 8, and crowd reaction is going to be a huge metric. So even if you aren't familiar with any of these 5 bands, come out and truly cheer for your favorite one. It might be harder for the Central Louisiana band to get as big a crowd as Petty Betty, for example. So that organic cheering, I think, will be a really big deal for all the bands.
Looking forward to it. I'll be there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle Southern, Eagle 98.1, who I think you have to go be on air right now.
Yes, I do. I'm going to go back to my show.
I'm going to let you go. That's Michelle Southern. It's After Further Review. Brought to you by Evermore. Y'all, I need a refill now. My Evermore is empty. But every day when I sit in here in studio, I always have my bottle of Evermore. And I've converted, and I encourage you all to do the exact same thing. Drink Evermore, a great Louisiana product as well. Look, you can go buy the crinkly water bottle. You can drink water from Texas or from another country, or drink a great Louisiana product. It's Evermore, EVAMOR. It's natural artesian water. It's a rare alkaline source with a pH of 8.8 to 9.1. We've talked so much in recent years about alkalinity and how important that is for the health of your body, your overall well-being. We've heard stories of people reducing things like acid reflux and heartburn because of a healthier product like this. Go read a lot of the reviews. You can learn more about it. EVAMOR, Evermore.com, available at great local retailers. Okay, y'all, when I got a final break, we'll come back, put a button on the show. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks. Find out what we're betting on tonight. The College World Series final is set. Game number 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. So what is the Otter like? We'll find out next. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Y'all, always encourage you, especially if you're a Green Thumb. Well, you know this already if you're a Green Thumb, but make sure you check out the Clegg's Nursery Facebook page. Make sure you're following their Facebook page. They really do a great job every day of updating their page whenever they get new shipments. So, I mean, just an hour ago, they just posted a picture of porter weeds from the LSU Ag Center, their super plants for 2024. I mean, there's peach right there. So go check it out if you're interested, right there on their Facebook page, literally an hour ago. So if you're ever interested in what they have, what shipments are coming in, what's arriving at the greenhouses, make sure you follow the Clegg's Nursery Facebook page or just get by any of the locations. Their friendly staff will help answer any questions you have. If you don't know what to plant or how to plant, they do, and they're happy to help you. It's Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and 7 have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on this Thursday edition of AFR. One thing left to do, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
Otter, how are you?
Good, Matt. Really light schedule tonight, man. 7 of the 9 MLB games for during the day. So Yankees trying to get 27 outs. They have a little rough go of it right now.
Well, haven't been able to follow the game while I'm on air, but
16-5, Baltimore.
Oh,
no. The real story is Luis Gil, who's been unbelievable. Is he going to hit the wall? Because he had nothing today. Gave up about 7 runs in maybe an inning and a third. So 2 games tonight, San Francisco and St. Louis. They're playing in Birmingham, the MLB, deal with the Ricketts Field. I like St. Louis. I mean, it's a light card, but I will take St. Louis. The San Francisco starter has had a rough go of it. And then later tonight, got a pick'em game at Petco in San Diego, Milwaukee. One team, Matt, just figures out ways to win in Milwaukee, and one team figures out ways to lose. So, at a pick'em, I'm going to take Milwaukee in the late game as well.
Okay, so we're taking St. Louis and Milwaukee tonight in Major League Baseball.
Right.
And then tonight, the Stanley Cup Game 6 is tomorrow, right? I think I teased
it.
Man,
yeah. It's going to be tomorrow night. This is the shortest line for Edmonton being at home. So it's, Randy McKay was on today, and he's still sticking with Florida. He's got a Florida, to win the whole thing. But they're a little concerned. And it's just funny how they've been like $1.40, $1.45 at home. It's only like $1.18 tomorrow. But it's a short price coming back. But we're going to try and get, Florida in tomorrow to clinch it on the road.
Okay. And do you have, since we're not going to talk to you before it starts, any thought on A&M and Tennessee and the CWS final?
I got a lot of thoughts. Problem is, the biggest one is it's a really good line. I mean, Tennessee's got the upper hand. They're favored, in game 1. It's a big price to pay, although A&M they've had so many injuries. Now Lavalette is playing with a strained hamstring as well. Nolan Kane was on the show today with me, and, they're just, next man up trying to do it. I think they will get one, but, man, this is going to be hard for A&M to win this series. 2 out of 3. This is where it's finally going to catch up with them. So we'll see, but I like it's anywhere from -80 to 210, but I would take Tennessee in the series.
Okay, I'm looking at Tennessee -210 right now at DraftKings.
Yeah.
All right, Ruffino's tomorrow?
Ruffino's and a Special Coast. My buddy Devin Hold the Mayo Snow is going to take the drive up, and he's going to sit in with me. So two New Orleanians comparing notes tomorrow. It's Kumbaya. West Bank meets Chalmette. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
So good. All right, Otter. Well, have a great show tonight or tomorrow, and good luck tonight on the picks.
Thank you, Matt. Good luck.
All right, be well. That is Jimmy Ott. Otter and Hold the Mayo. That's one of those where I might go have lunch at Ruffino's just to see this.
I was about to say that is appointment listening.
I mean, just happened there. Sorry, I got distracted. Paulie put the camera on that mic with nobody sitting in the chair. So I was like, I didn't know. It's fine. I just didn't know if you were trying to point something out to me. It's okay. Don't worry. It's no worries. I don't know, man. The Tennessee Texas A&M thing. I get everything, and yeah, Tennessee's favored and probably should win. If A&M hadn't had the injury to Braden Montgomery and Shane Sadeo, I'd feel much better about it. But I'm still, lesser of two evils. There's no good option if you're an LSU fan with those two teams, but I'd still rather see A&M win than Tennessee win, because A&M people just generally are nice, and the Tennessee coach and players and all are jerks, and I'm not pulling for them. All right, it's after further review. We'll get to what we learned here in just a quick second. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. With 24 locations across South Louisiana, you're never, not 24, I don't know where that just went in my, 18 locations. Why did 24 just go into my brain? 18 locations across South Louisiana, started in Morgan City, up to Baton Rouge, Livingston Parish, West Baton Rouge, all over the place, toward Lafayette, Youngsville. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. And I always encourage you, go to the website, hit the promotions tab at the top. If you're in the market for tires, thinking you're going to buy new tires, remember, they're going to sell you the best tires on the road for the cheapest price possible. They guarantee it. It's part of the Charlie's Dozen. It's the price match guarantee. But if you want to look specifically at what tires and what deals are available, they're all right there under the promotions tab. So get on by ShawBillsTire.com or schedule your service online before you hit the road this summer. Oil change, tire rotation, brake squeaking, check engine light on. You can check it all out there at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBills, where we keep you rolling. All right, Muse, what'd you learn today?
I learned that Neil Burcham was co-Elite 11 MVP with Jameis Winston. That's what I learned.
You should see my mentions. Every tweet right now, every tweet is Bama is burning. It's the Elite 11. Look, just look at it's just replies to me. It's Bama fans. It's Elite 11 MVP. That's all it is right now. I cannot wait to pummel them all with a as soon as we're off air with this Neil Burcham tweet. It's going to be so good. Paulie, what did you learn today?
I learned that Travis Kelce doesn't care about the misprint on the Super Bowl ring.
He does not.
What'd you learn, Matt?
Jardin Gilbert, the one game he wants to win next year. A&M. See ya.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com as we get on down the road. Hey, remember, energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. Oh, yeah. They do indoor shutters as well. And Relief Windows offers you a lifetime transferable warranty. I want you to think about that. You know, I don't promote companies that are going to do shabby work, that are going to be quick fixes for you. I promote the best, and that's Relief Windows. The work they do, they stand by it. You get a lifetime transferable warranty. Install windows from Relief Windows, and you know what happens? 20 years from now, you've sold your home, the new homeowner, someone breaks a window, they'll come replace it for free. That's Relief Windows. You want the best? You want Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150. $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.